Please do. Hey guys, good evening. I am so sorry about the delay. Today has been a really terrible day, and I'm just happy that we're finally moving along and making some progress, and I really appreciate your patience, those of you who are left. Anyway, so today we are going to do a live unbox and swatch of the Arteza Metallic Mixed Media Art Set. This thing is huge. I was just about to look up how much it cost when my woes started regarding technical problems. So give me a second and let me pull that up. Hopefully y'all are doing well. You know, we have been technically moved in since like mid-October and we're still living out of boxes and not really moved in, and it is very frustrating. If your mom offers to paint your house as your wedding present, you should probably not say yes, because you'll be living in boxes for the next year. It's very generous of her to offer, but we're buying everything and I'm doing half the work, so I don't know if it's really been a wedding present at all. So this kit, I did not pay this price. I actually caught it on a sale and I'm kind of surprised by that. It is currently $99.99, but when no, I didn't want my screen streaming. Dang it. I forgot everything I was saying. You can tell I had a really bad day today. Anyway, so this kit is $99.99 currently on Amazon. I'll put a link in the chat for you guys. I was really looking forward to this stream since it's my first stream back in a while. And you know how, I don't know, maybe this is a me thing, but anytime I'm really excited about something, everything else in the day will conspire to ruin it. So I'm trying to like kind of reset my brain and get into a better place, but also not make y'all wait any longer than you have to. All right, so that's where I got it from. Let's go ahead and unbox this thing because it's so big that I have to totally change my setup and you can't even see my face. So hopefully, eventually, someday, one day, I will be able to have a streaming setup where for big things like that, like this, we have a secondary camera and it just shows like a full body shot or something and you guys can actually see it. But we're still kind of working on that. I guess so, but I meant like a nice camera like this one. And we do actually have a nice camera like this one somewhere. I wanted to use my cell phone as a secondary recording device so that I could offer a time-lapse version of this, but I don't know if I'll be able to do that. Okay, so unfortunately, my webcam won't go quite high enough, so we will just have to, I can't do this, okay. All right, hi, been a while. Is it even picking up my face? Who knows? This is a big one now. So one of the things I want to point out is that the packaging for this that it came in is just so uninspired. It's just a black box that says art kit on it. You know, I got to put it down even lower. Unfortunately, I can't. And there's a lot of foam packaging. Hopefully you guys can see. Let me pause the video so that you guys get better video quality. Thank you, Melanie. I really miss doing these streams, and it just hasn't really been feasible for us, frankly. Like between like crazy family drama and trying to get the house painted and trying to get a workspace set up, it just hasn't been feasible. So we have this decorative wooden box. This is so much more photogenic than what they sent me. And then there's another box inside, and I think this contains the paper. And I would love to get some photos of this. Let me see if I can power up my super old phone. So every year I try to review a couple of art kits because art kits are just a really popular gift for people to give to aspiring artists. And it's pretty common for people who are not necessarily artists themselves to look to art kits as a way to give the gift of art and art appreciation to someone they love. So every year I try to review some of the more promising looking, affordable mass market art kits. So not the $1,000 Faber-Castell kit, but the kind of stuff that you could feasibly see yourself giving, so that we can talk about what works, what doesn't work, and hopefully we can find some kits eventually that do work. So my old phone says, absolutely not. I am not restarting. May I borrow your phone, Joseph? Thank you. Oh yeah, so my speakers aren't working, huh? I do. My speakers are not working, so please let me know if like the volume's weird, if you can't hear anything. You should hear audio and music. And I'm trying to get some photos as we go those. And I'm also double recording this. So we're gonna start with let's start with this. I think this is just the paper. Now that's something that I really like about this kit, is that this one comes with paper, and the outside of the kit says it is a metallic mixed media kit, but the Amazon listing says it's like, they list all the materials in it basically. So we get some canvases in a variety of sizes in both black and white, because I know that they are doing a lot of glitter and gel stuff in this one, and gouache. Some more canvases, and these smell good. These smell like the wood. We also have some of their DIY sketch pads that turn into like a frame. You gotta origami them a little bit. So it doesn't say on here, but the premium usually means that these are a cellulose paper rather than a cotton rag paper. And these are the black paper, so that's pretty cool. We also have 5 sheets of canvas pad, 5 sheets of their premium white watercolor paper. I reviewed this a while back. This is a cellulose paper, and that's it for the, the surfaces we are creating on. So we get a variety. I would say this kit is definitely going to be, just given Arteza's prices, this kit's going to be worth the $100. And if you can, I would catch it on sale if you can. But I know Arteza's site is doing a Black Friday / Cyber Monday sale right now with something 75% off. So I wouldn't get it from Amazon. I would get it from the Arteza site. Hey, Nisa, long time no see. I'm so glad many of y'all could make it. I felt so bad that I was running late. I went to the other side of the river to my mom's house to get some product photos for 7-inch care off for Cyber Monday, because she's got Christmas stuff and I don't do Christmas stuff. And time just kind of conspired against me, because it turned out she didn't have her Christmas stuff, so we had to go to the storage unit, and that ended up taking longer than we'd wanted. So next I'm gonna bust into this box, and my hope today is to at least mess around with and swatch all of the materials. Before I get too deep into this though, I do want to say that I have just a 12 half pan Arteza watercolor review up for patrons already. So if you're a patron on Patreon, you guys should have this. And I wanted to review this first before we do like the big kit, although the big kit is what people are going to see publicly. And I also have, I'm still waiting on one of these, but I have the 12-day Arteza art calendar, and I have the 24-day Arteza art calendar, and they let me know that the 24-day one was going to run a little bit late. I was going to wait until the 24-day one came, and then I was going to decide, because I want to do it 2 different ways. I want to do one Alexandria Ryan style, where we just go through the whole calendar together in one video. And then I want to do one Ashen style, where I record a mini segment each day where we're opening them. And I wanted to do a few art advent calendars, and surprisingly, and this is like really honestly surprising to me, this isn't really a thing for adult artists. I mean, Arteza is like the only company doing it. I'm kind of surprised that some of the big art supply companies aren't doing these. I'm really surprised like Art Snacks isn't doing this, because it seems like it would be a really good way to get like unload stuff. But it's pretty much just Arteza doing it. And speaking of markers and Arteza, so it's sale time right now. So I've been watching for sales like a little hawk, and I caught these on sale. And these are the new brush tip Arteza alcohol markers that I want to unbox and swatch for you guys. So, and they have replaceable nibs. So I'm actually pretty excited about them. Purchased them out of pocket, but I did catch them on a sale. Now, generally, Arteza and I don't really have the best, they don't know me, but we don't have the best relationship because I'm not really a fan of their quality. I think they're kind of overpriced for their quality, but I wanted to review some cool art kits for you guys and some art advent calendars for y'all, and Arteza is the one who does it. So, you know I gotta smell the art supplies. The box smells really good. It smells like wood. It seems like a quality box. Now, one of my complaints about art kits is that often it seems like all the money goes into this really impressive show box and not really in the art supplies that they're including. Let me move these out of the way. You know, I have all this table space now, and I'm like, where do I put it? I don't know. So this is my first time actually getting a look at what's inside this. All right, so I want to get the camera. I can't get the camera. Camera, help, help. I'm sorry, I need the camera again. It turned itself off. It's Joseph's phone and, huh? Thank you. Sorry about that, y'all. Oh yeah, look, I love the way art supplies smell. When I go to David's Art Center in Metairie, I'm always like, I even love like when you've had art supplies in storage and then you open whatever box they were in. I love just like inhaling the, I mean, I'm sure I'm giving myself cancer, but I love inhaling the smell. So if we pull these tabs here on the sides, we also, come on, a little sticky. There's even more art supplies inside. So there, can you see? Okay, just barely. Good, at least you can actually see. So there's a lot of art supplies in this kit. And what kind of drew me to this kit, because y'all know I love watercolors, this kit also has some acrylic markers. Let me move this out of the way for y'all. It has some gel pens. It has acrylics, which I can use, but I don't love acrylics. It's got gouache and it's got watercolor over here, and these are the tube watercolors. And then it also has, it says 12-piece watercolors. These are supposed to be, see, I don't know why they market this as a metallic set, because this, other than like, there's a lot of metallic gouache down here. There's not a lot of metallics in the set, but this, I believe, should be metallic as well. Yes, good, okay. I was worried, no, yes, whew. I was worried that, because sometimes I've gotten bait and switch before, so I was worried that it would be like just regular watercolors, but no, it is the metallic watercolors, which is good because I've already got their regular watercolors here. So what I want to do with you guys today is swatch everything, go through everything, and just kind of try to do it at a speedy clip so that we can get a good idea of what's in here. Smell of markers when you open the, no, please don't smell markers for a long time. Yeah, it depends on the marker, because like Chart Pack has this like cloyingly sweet smell that makes me kind of nauseous, but like Copic and Prismacolor, it just smells like art to me. You know what I mean? Like I've been using those for so long that my brain has them really linked with like making art and the joy of making art. So, wow. All right. We do get kind of a product guide of what's inside here. And I'll also say, I don't want to spoil today's unbox and swatch by giving away my opinions on Arteza too much, but I will say that their blog is really cool, and they have a lot of tutorials and stuff over on their blog. So that's something I do actually like to see.
Some bonus unboxing, some Amazon packages.
Some Amazon packages came in. I don't know what is in those necessarily, though. So what I like to see from art supply companies is that sort of outreach where they want to teach people how to use their art supplies. I mean, I learned how to watercolor from watching Blick and Winsor Newton and Sennelier tutorials. So I really appreciate that Arteza does do a lot of that outreach. So let's kind of go through this. This is printed on heavier paper, full color, which is nice. Create your masterpiece with Arteza Metallic Mixed Media Art Set. Now, I think these are also metallics, and these are kind of metallic, but I wouldn't say this whole set is metallic. And look, they even included the wood rounds. We're gonna see those again in the advent calendar, I think. Let your creativity shine as bright as your artwork with this shimmering set. Adding metallics to your artwork can bring focus to a particular subject and can even give it an additional layer of dimension. Get a fun variety of shining supplies to create with and some tools to help you as you create. And here they talk about gouache, and they have a QR, I almost said QR code, so you can learn more about gouache. I actually really like that. Good job. 24 gouache colors, so those are the ones down here. Add color to your piece with 10 bold colors and 12 shimmering metallics, plus 2 tubes of white. Mix and match colors. Accent your artwork with a shimmer or make a whole piece using shining shades. Provides good coverage. Don't worry about layering your new colors. When used dry, these paints are so pigmented that they cover previous layers well. Creamy consistency. Applies beautifully to a variety of surfaces. You can use glitter gel pens to add accents or details. They also have 5 paint brushes. These do have some sizing in them. They're synthetic, but the build quality so far isn't bad, at least for the flats. The build quality isn't bad. With the big round way over here, this looks kind of short and stumpy for a round. Usually I like to see a round this width a little bit longer. That could be good for the gouache, not necessarily great for the watercolors. They also included a branded water brush. 5 paint brushes. Apply the paint expertly to your surface and capture every detail. High quality synthetic bristles hold your paints well without absorbing too much moisture and allows you to easily move around the paint. Dependable metal, you know, all right, that's a way to describe it. Dependable metal ferrule, and that would be this bit right here, and it's double crimped, but I will say this is wiggly already. That's probably not a dependable. Plastic, but mostly just metal.
Have you ever seen a plastic?
Yes, I have. My Pentel Neo, they're a synthetic sumi brush, has a plastic. It doesn't have a ferrule per se. They're glued into the plastic, and those are fine.
Yeah. Is it painted metal?
No, it's not trying to pretend, and I appreciate that. But other than that, no, I've never seen a non-metal ferrule. Now, I've seen some really like flimsy metal ferrules that are almost like just foil. But like tin, but I've never seen like a plastic ferrule. That doesn't mean they're not out there. I just haven't encountered one yet. Okay, so dependable metal ferrule prevents your brush from shedding. Lightweight and comfortable handle. It is lightweight and comfortable handle. Creating comfort with the ergonomic handles of the brushes. I can't get over that this wiggles. That's a little alarming. 4 canvas panels. So I'll just grab one of them. So 2 of them are stretch canvas, and then 2 of them are canvas board. And that's kind of, I actually really prefer the stretch. If I am using acrylics, I do prefer the stretch canvas because I like that bounce to it. It just has a liveliness that kind of responds well with my brush, but I can see some people not liking that. How long will the paintbrushes last, in my opinion? That's a really good question. I am really hard on my brushes. I'm trying to be better, but they tend to get chewed up pretty quick with me. If you're very gentle and careful with them, and you never ever even accidentally get water all the way up in here. So when you're dipping your brush in your brush cup, if you only have a little bit of water in there, they'll last longer. This wiggliness, though, like I said, really concerns me because that means water can get in there, the wood can swell, and then so with handles like this, as the wood swells and contracts, the paint on it, the lacquer on it cracks. And I mean, I have brushes where that's happened because I'm really hard on my brushes. That's gonna really shorten the life of the brush. With this flat here, they seem to be pretty well glued into the ferrule, so I'm actually not really that concerned about the bristles on that one. On this one, I just think this one is actually much tighter. It doesn't have the build quality issues, but the bristles on this one are so short that I'm kind of like, that might not be very fun to paint with. And then it's 2 more flats, and these seem okay build quality. It's just that big one. And then 1 teensy detailer round that, I mean, these I go through these so quick, but the build quality on this one seems fine. So it's really just the length of the bristles on this one and the wiggliness of the ferrule on that one. Makes me it makes me concerned. So 2 black, 2 white canvases. Pick which tone will suit your composition or project best. I've never painted on black canvas. I just never have. Lightweight. These thin boards wrapped in canvas won't take up room in your studio or workspace. Variety of shapes. Choose from square shaped panels and traditional rectangular panels. You can also use watercolor pad or a DIY frame black sketch pad. Oh, and then they mentioned the 2 stretched canvases. So premium canvas stretched across a sturdy wooden frame, primed and ready, no need to prep, just start creating, which is good. So generally with acrylics, you would apply a layer of gesso to your stretched canvas, and that's just kind of like, first of all, it makes it so that the unprimed linen doesn't absorb all your paint. It also gives you like a surface to paint on. So these are already primed, they're already ready to paint, which is good because they did not include gesso. Perfectly textured, smooth 100% cotton surface that has just the right texture for gripping onto the paint well. 1 black and 1 white. Choose the right background for your artwork. And then they have more helpful tips with the QR code. Blend and layer like a pro with acrylics. 24, so that's over here. Rich blendable paints that dry quickly and can be layered. I will say for acrylics, these are pretty small tubes. You would go through these really quickly because acrylics, they just don't stretch as far as watercolors stretch. Watercolors like these would last a while. You would go through these really pretty quickly. They do have a mixing palette in here for what I would say the watercolor and the gouache, but no mixing surfaces for the acrylics. So if you do buy this set or you receive this set, I would recommend, honestly, like a piece of flat plastic plexiglass, like the clear plexiglass would be a good starter palette. You can buy palettes too, but if you're doing it on the cheap, you can also go to Dollar Tree and just buy like a plastic plate or a glass or a ceramic plate. And then once the acrylic dries, if there's still acrylic on it, you can just peel it off. So rich blendable paints that dry quickly and can be layered. Includes metallic shades. I guess these are the metallic shades down here. Comes with 12 shimmering colors to mix and match with your other colors to create bold artwork and works well on black surfaces. Individually labeled tubes. I'd easily identify the color you're using and its light fastness. Extra tube of white paint, which is really pretty important because your white paint is one of the ones you're going to go through a lot. Get more of the most important shade for mixing, highlighting, and more. 5 acrylic markers. Reach for these markers when you're ready to add details or aren't in the mood for using a paintbrush. I actually really like acrylic markers. Like, I'm not big on acrylic paints anymore, but I still really like Poscas and acrylic markers. The form factor is just a lot easier to use for me. So I'm excited to try these out, and if they're any good, that gives me another resource that I can recommend. Perfect for outlining and highlighting. Choose from black, white, bronze, gold, and silver markers to add finishing touches. Bullet nibs with replaceable chisel nibs. Here are the replaceable nibs. They seem to be fiber. Switch the nibs using marker tweezers to get the right shape for what you need to draw. Start working immediately. Great for quick fixes because these don't require a whole paint setup to work. And then they talk about the canvas pad that they've included. Practice your techniques or paint your full masterpieces on the pad. Primed sheets. Every sheet is primed with gesso so you can start painting immediately. Bring your pad anywhere. Create wherever you find inspiration. Glue-bound pad. Simply tear out the sheet when you're ready to frame them or want to work on an individual sheet. And you can also use canvas panels or stretch canvases. And then again, they have a QR code with helpful tips. And then we talk about the wood slices. And you can, if you find that you like creating on wood slices, they sell larger wood slices at Michael's and Dollar Tree and sometimes at Walmart, or you can cut your own, but I don't have the dexterity to cut such perfectly flat cookies. Create on a completely new surface unlike any canvas or paper you've used before. Includes natural bark. Give your piece a down-to-earth look. Pre-sanded, smooth surface that's ready for you to apply your media. You can prime your surface with some white paint or create directly on the natural surface. Pairs well with a variety of media. Paint a small composition using acrylic paint or create a drawing with your acrylic markers on it. And then they've got some more tutorials here for wood slice projects. It has been mid-July. I'm honestly, yeah, it has been since mid-July. It's been a while. It's been almost half a year. That's sad. That's too long. Use metallic half pans to reach for the stars. And they've got some helpful tips. I'll probably check out those helpful tips off stream a little bit later on. 12 metallic watercolor half pans. Bring attention to specific areas of your drawing with a touch of shine. Add water to activate. Use a wet paintbrush or a water brush, and they did include a water brush to get the paints. Oh no, though, these do not smell. They don't smell good. These have like a danger smell. A not great smell. So that'll be exciting. 12 shimmering shades. Get a good range of colors to highlight and accent your work with. See how the colors will appear in your artwork using the included black and white swatch sheets. I do like that. Stored in a tin. Use the lid as a palette and keep all your pans together. And then they have a tutorial for a cute duck drawing. I really appreciate. I do wish they'd included like a booklet of these things, because not everyone who is given the gift of an art kit is allowed internet access. These are a very popular gift for younger artists. So it would be cool if they had like a booklet and then the tutorials, but I do understand why they wouldn't necessarily do both, because that is a lot of extra work and formatting, and creating something that is a video versus creating something that is a blog post or a written thing is kind of two very different things. So I understand why, but from an accessibility issue or an accessibility standpoint, I do think having an included booklet with these tips written out would be more accessible to more people. But I appreciate the inclusion of all these tips and all these tutorials, because that makes something that could seem very cool but also very daunting, and oh, I don't want to ruin it, or I don't want to use them up on a bad piece of art. It makes it much more accessible, and I do appreciate that. And that's not something I generally see with the art kits that I've reviewed. Like, I've reviewed a few Artist Loft kits, and they never do that. So I do appreciate that. DIY black frame sketch pad. Try something different with your shimmering metallic paint and pens with black sketch paper. Easy to fold. Follow the folding guidelines and perforated tabs to put together your frame. Apply a variety of media. Experience how your paints and supplies interact against a dark background. Make highlights pop. Watch as light colors and shades stand out brightly against the dark background. You can also use the watercolor pad. And then we have our 10 glittering gel pens. I do love gel pens. I hope these are good ones, because good ones are like, mwah, but bad ones make you just kind of die a little on the inside. So 10 glitter gel pens. Add a touch of dazzle to your artwork with sparkling details. Quick drying gel ink. Every stroke is filled with sparkling glitter. Smooth rollerball. No need to worry about your pen skipping as you draw. Won't clump or streak. Go back over your lines as many times as you need. Yeah, we'll see about that, Arteza, because that's something many brands have trouble with. You can also use acrylic markers to try something new. And then finally, our plastic palette. Keep the colors you're using separate as you work and mix custom shades in the wells. 6 wells. Set up a full set of colors to use in your painting while keeping them from mixing together. Easy to wash. Rinse your paint away from your palette with water. Good for any of the paints in the set. It's not quite big enough for the acrylics. Great for having multiple media on your workspace without them interfering with each other. And then there's more helpful tips. Whew. And then there's even more. And that is Joseph's heating pad beeping in the background. Enjoy the fluidity of watercolor painting. I like those. That's a fun idea. So 12 watercolors. Highly pigmented... We'll talk about this in a second. Highly pigmented watercolor paints to create soft yet bright artwork. Just add water. Create beautiful washes of color with as much water as you need. A little goes a long way. Yes, that is true. Even a small amount of paint can be used for your entire masterpiece. That is one of the reasons I really like watercolors. Blending and easy to layer, blendable and easy to layer. Mix and match tones, create smooth gradients, and layer colors to create vivid, dynamic pieces. You can use glitter gel pens and acrylic markers to add accents and try something new. Watercolor pad. Make beautiful watercolor and gouache masterpieces on this special paper. Heavyweight sheets, the 300 GSM, and that's about 140 pounds if you're in the US, so a little heavier than cardstock. The 300 GSM paper is suitable for wet media. Lightly textured surface. Each sheet is carefully pressed with a light texture that enhances your artwork. Glue bound pages, so that just means they're bound at the top. Simply tear a sheet from the pad when you're ready to work or create directly on the pad of paper. Whew, they do a good job explaining everything, or at least introducing everything. And we live in the age of YouTube, so I know I did just point out like it would be more accessible if they had a booklet where they kind of explain things. But they explain things enough that with a little bit of looking things up and a little bit of YouTube and a little bit of guidance, you can teach yourself how to get started with this. And I do appreciate that they provide enough that you feel like you can start looking things up. And I don't know if that's a skill set I learned being a nerdy child in the 90s where I didn't live near anybody who liked any of the things I liked, so I had to use the internet. But I hope that's a skill set taught in schools, because learning how to look things up is really helpful and it really opens the world up to you. Water brush. No need to keep dipping your brush in water. This brush can handle it. Holds a decent amount of water. Well, that's a very subjective thing to say. The reservoir in the handle of the brush prevents you from needing to constantly refill your brush. Easy to squeeze dispenser. Simply press the button. Oh, they got a nicer... The booklet is a nicer water brush than this. This is a cheaper water brush. But you know, everybody's having supply chain issues right now, so I'm not really going to like beat them up about it. Simply press the button on the side of the pen to get more water in the bristles. So with this one, you see where it says push? That's where you squeeze. You just squeeze the barrel. Flexible nylon bristles. Works just like your favorite brushes. No. Water brushes and regular brushes don't work the same. You can do great things with water brushes, but they're just kind of different. Works just like your favorite brushes and can be used with a variety of media. You can also use paint brushes. Wooden painting box. Store all supplies in one place and keep them secure while you aren't working, which is actually really handy. Protect your supplies. Prevent any accidental damage to your supplies while you travel or work in your studio. Large storage case. This case has 4 compartments to sort all your supplies. Easily bring your art tools with you. Keep your case packed with all the supplies you need, then simply pick it up and go when you're ready. And then we have even more tutorials. So I really like that. I wish Arteza supplies were a little bit higher quality, because I love how accessible they try to make art. You know, like here's some tips, here's some tutorials. I really appreciate that, because I mean, you guys know, y'all hang out with me. Art accessibility and making art something everyone can access, even if you don't have a lot of money, is really important to me. So I love that they do that. I don't always love their price point or their supplies, but I love that they do seem to try to champion this accessible art. So all that's really left with this is just them showing some of their other products, their paints, their pads and books, their markers, and their pens and pencils. So I am gonna go get myself some water because whew, that was a lot of talking. And also this thing takes up a lot of desk space. So what I'm gonna also do is I'm gonna clean off some space over to the side so we can actually start swatching these things. So give me like 5 minutes and I'll be back and ready. And I'm just gonna leave it like this for right now and probably talk at y'all, and hopefully y'all can hear me. Need some like elevator music. I know I have an away status, but I like them being able to see what's in this kit, because there's a lot in this kit. Yeah. This is a I really wish, and I'm hoping it's just their watercolors just don't do it for me, because I would love for there to be a fairly affordable art kit that's actually a lot of fun, and maybe I'm just being too hard on the watercolors and kind of missing the point. Someday I'll be able to collab with a younger artist and get that point of like a, you know, just a different point of view. Someday I'll also have like a third camera set up over here. We'll get there. This is just my first stream back. I missed y'all. I keep like desperately wanting Arteza to be good, and then I keep being disappointed. And I have reviewed a lot of Arteza things on this channel before. Joseph, would you search my YouTube channel and drop links to some of those? And that way, if you guys like this stream and you're still interested, you can check out some of those as well. So, move this over. Space management has never ever been my strong point.
Yeah, you have 5 times the space now.
I know, and I'm still like, ooh, I don't know where to put things. Well, this box is big, so that is not gonna work. Okay, I gotta think. That's part of the problem. It's a big old box. And our lighting in here is still terrible, so I have like all these lights set up that have to be on tables and things. Oh, all my things are falling. Literally all my things are falling. I also want to like pick things up in a good way so that they don't get squirreled away somewhere, and then I'm like, I don't know where it went. Because that is definitely my life. So I'm trying to pick it up in a sustainable way. Oh man. Please fit. It did! I did it! This thing's huge though. So, before I disappear, hopefully you guys are having a good time, because I got a different Arteza set to review with you guys, but we're not doing that tonight. Not at all. No. We're going to do this like next week or something, but we're not doing this one tonight. am going to stash these away. I would like to do a field test with this where I make at least one like real piece of art. So I'm going to stash these away for now. And we'll focus on these papers. I forgot. Let me move the camera so that, okay, a little bit closer. Had to be pulled out because that thing is so big. And we have 4 wood cookies here, but I kind of want to do a project with the Arteza set with these, so I'll save that for a different time, a different place. We're just going to focus on unboxing and swatching tonight. So I'm going to go get that water, and I will be right back. Better. Sorry, I was reading the chat. I have so many things I want to say to you guys because I really did miss y'all a lot, and all this moving stuff, and then I mean obviously the panini, and then we got hit with that hurricane. I forgot how much I missed streaming until I'm here and hanging out with you guys and having a really good time. And I've been doing unboxing swatches, and those are great, and I enjoy doing them, and I hope you guys will check them out. I'm working on the student grade showdown where I'm reviewing a bunch of really inexpensive watercolors to hopefully find the best ones so that I can recommend them to people, and I'm enjoying it. But it gets kind of lonely because I'm basically kind of talking to myself and future you. Whereas like tonight, I get to actually kind of talk to you guys, and it's nice. Actually, this is fun. I should do more unboxing swatches as streams because it just makes it like, this is a big kit. This would take me several days by myself to do because I like to get all in depth and stuff. But when we're hanging out, I don't have to be as in depth either. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to take a look at the papers. And I have reviewed this one. So I have reviewed the Arteza Premium and Expert. I don't like their naming system. I've said that hey Cindy, good to see you. I don't like their naming schema. I personally find it kind of confusing, like Premium and Expert. What's the difference? Well, their Premium is a little bit nicer than their Expert. Actually, I think somewhere on this Premium holiday advent calendar, this one that I want to review with you guys, I'm excited about this one. It explains, there we go. It actually explains kind of what their schema is. So for this, we have Classic, which is like, I guess their lowest, Premium, which is their middle of the line, and then Pro Series. But then some products say Expert on them. Like their Cotton Rag watercolor paper says Expert. So, you know, I don't know. And with this one, I'm going to talk a little bit more about this one. I'm kind of torn because this one I was going to do Alexandria Ryan style where we just go through the whole thing, except it's actually art activities. And I think it'd be really cool to actually do the art activities. And I'm waiting for the 24-day one to see if that one's just art supplies or if it's 24 art activities. So whichever one isn't art activities is the one I'm going to do as a one-shot video. And do the art activities as like a check-in every day and like try to do the art activities, and we'll see how that goes because I want to do it. The will, yeah, the holidays are always busiest. The will is there, but whether there is time or quiet is another thing. Because like I said earlier, my family's been coming over to help paint our house, and they don't really get a lot of painting done, but they sure do bicker and expect us to cook dinner, and just there's always a lot of umpara when they're over. So I haven't been able to do most of what I would like to be able to do because they don't let me know what days they're showing up. So I can't really plan around them, although it seems like weekends tend to be free. So, ooh, this wrapping is like very tight. I wish I could time lapse the wrapping for y'all. And everything goes on the floor, and I'll just clean it up after. And this, the instructions for how to turn these into frames is on the back. And I have the white cotton rag version of this coming in because I actually did think that was like a really cool idea. Oh. Hey, Dawn, good to see you. Melanie says, I like silence and alone time at my house other than my husband and our pets, of course. Yeah, I do too. I do get lonely, but I don't want constant noise and people. I'm an ambivert. I do want kids, but our relationship with our children is going to be very different from our relationship with my mom and brother and aunt, because we will actually be able to set more boundaries. Now, something that kind of bums me out about Arteza, and I talk about this in the Arteza Watercolor Unbox and Swatch, is Arteza says that they're a US company, but pretty much everything they're selling is a white label and it's all made in China. So I would love to see more American art supply companies actually developing their own products, actually manufacturing their own products, hiring artists in the US to help them. Not that I have any problems with people living elsewhere by any long shot, but as an artist in the US, you know, that kind of manufacturing in the US would mean more jobs for people like myself. I would love to make art supplies for a living. Like, I don't want to make handmade watercolors, but I would love to like go work at Daniel Smith and run the big machines and make watercolors. Okay, so here are our 3 pads. This is the canvas pad. There's 5 sheets. It has been primed with acid-free acrylic gesso, and it is bleed-proof, which is good. These are all 9-inch by 12-inch pads, so pretty standard size. I don't really do a lot of acrylics, like I said, and when I do, I tend to do it on stretched canvases or just on something else, you know what I mean? This is 100% cotton. I am going to be doing the acrylic swatches on these so that I can save those canvases for, you know, a piece of art. But this is canvas. I would recommend you attach this to something, you stretch it, you secure it some way. Not because, like with watercolor, when you saturate watercolor paper, it kind of kips and buckles, but just so that you have this more stable work surface. I have not ever worked on anything like this, so this is kind of cool. I don't know if it's good or not, but it's cool. Usually with acrylic canvas paper, it's a paper that has a plastic coating on it that's then been kind of glued to like a cardstock or something, but this is actually just canvas, so that's pretty neat. And then we have our black paper. So this is watercolor, no, it's the sketch paper, and this is okay. This isn't bad. This isn't a complaint. This is not a sketch paper. This has 0 tooth to it. It is very, very smooth. This is like a hot press type of surface. Sketch paper usually has some tooth to it. So this is probably not gonna be the best for anything where you want that texture of the paper texture. But it has a really nice, I like this smooth surface. This would be fun with Poscas, acrylic markers, probably okay with the gouache and with the acrylics, although there's not a lot for it to sit on. It's probably great with the glitter gel pens though. So anything that seems like a smoother surface, this will probably do a little bit better. I think the right color pencils, more buttery color pencils rather than waxy color pencils would also be a good fit with this. So even though this is a 9 by 12 pad. When it's folded up, it's 5 by 6.6. So it folds really tiny, and you do lose some of the paper to just folding. That's just kind of the nature of the product. And we get 10 of these, and this is probably a cellulose paper. And then we have their 20 sheet watercolor pad. I know this is a cellulose paper because I've reviewed this before. They don't disclose that on here. And this, you guys are probably not going to be able to see it. It has that linen texture that in a few other videos I've talked about not really liking. I'm not a fan of the very uniform linen texture watercolor paper. I like the more rough, not so regular watercolor paper, but that's 100% personal preference. It's just what I like. It's not necessarily, that particular texture is not bad or good. It's just a preference. So this is 140 pounds. So it's about the weight of a heavier cardstock. And I didn't love this paper. It wasn't my favorite cellulose paper. And for the price, I mean, Arteza can be a little bit expensive for what it is. So I would say, though, that considering the price of the kit and everything you get in it, everything's really fair. And now I wish I had dug up my my pad of Arteza Expert, because that would really be what I should swatch on. And I'll have it for next time, all right? So that is the papers that they've included. What should we start with? What do you guys want to see first? Do you guys want to see the acrylics? Do you want to see the gel pens? Do you want to see the acrylic markers? Do you want to see the gouache? Do you want to see the watercolor? Do you want to see the metallic watercolor? While you guys think about that, I am going to go ahead and every time I stand up, I'm just checking to make sure my secondary recording device is still working. I'm going to go ahead and just unwrap these and kind of talk to you guys about these while we talk. So please turn over. The thing about Arteza watercolors, the half pans, is they don't include their pigment information. And even if you contact Arteza, they claim they don't know what their pigment information is. Not for the metallics and not for the, sorry, I'm just grabbing it. Actually, you know what I do have? I do have these Arteza 100% cotton postcards, but I wanted to do this as its own video. So I will think about that and put that to the side. So Arteza's watercolors in the half pans, they don't give you the pigment information, not for these, but they do for the ones in the tube, which kind of leads people to believe that they're probably not the same pigments and they're probably not the same watercolors, because otherwise they would just have that pigment information. I talk about that more in my Arteza watercolor unbox and swatch. So these are not going to have the pigment information. You can, however, buy their half pans open stock on their site. So if you do like them, you can buy more of them. And I had hoped to buy their big 48 set that they used to have, but that is not in stock. Not what they have in stock right now for their half pan watercolors is the metallics and that little 12 color set. So this is what it looks like. I'm just checking to make sure it looks good to y'all. Y'all can actually see. So it looks like it contains a base pigment and mica, maybe even a colored mica. They're really not super forthcoming with their pigment info, and I'm a big old nerd, and I always save or try, if I have a sticky belly band like this, I usually try to save it and put it on the back. It is so much harder to hold things still when you can't use your pointer finger. I got myself good cutting apples for part of Thanksgiving dinner. It is healing though. It's just, man, this poor hand always gets the brunt of my work. This would be another wonderful instance to like time lapse it. Interested to see what the acrylic markers. Okay, so we've got some votes for Anna Downia is correct. If they don't say cotton, it's not. Also, if they say acid-free, it's probably not cotton. No one feels the need to hide the fact that it is cotton. That is the truth. Usually when it's cotton, it's going to say cotton, and you're going to be paying that cotton price. So we got some votes for gouache. That'd be fun to check out. And I can use, I'm not going to use, let me think. Because I want to use a black paper for the gouache. And I have the Stonehenge black and I could go grab that. And while I'm grabbing that, I might be able to find the Arteza Expert watercolor paper that I know where that is now. Or I used to know where that is. It was in the great room, and now it is somewhere again. Because I just don't think this, given this very, very smooth texture, is really gonna, I'm all about like the texture of paints. This is one of the reasons I love traditional media. And while smooth can be great, especially for like Posca stuff, because Poscas do not like that texture. I want to swatch the gouache on a paper that's really going to like give it a fair shot. So I need to grab the Stonehenge, and I'm going to need to try and see if I can quickly dig up the Expert. Hey Jill, good to see you. Yes, there are some shiny shinies in this kit. I love the littles. Hey, Made by Dawn. I was super excited when we were told the homeowners were willing to sell us the house at the price we were willing to pay if we were willing to give them extra time. And I love this house. There's some work we need to do, but the bones are really good, and I love the backyard, and I feel good here. And the people who had this place before are really nice people, so that kind of, I don't know, it just kind of gives it a good feeling. Any complaining I'm doing, it's not really about the house. It's more about like the work and my inability to set boundaries and juggle. So that's really more about, the complaining is really more about me than it is about the house. It looks extensive, Becca. Good luck. Wow. That's why I'm dragging y'all in with me. That's why I originally wanted to start at 5. But I went over across the river to my mom's house. And I know I'm repeating, but we got some new friends in now. I went over to get some Cyber Monday photos of 7-inch Cara Volume 1 because we're doing a deal until like December where you can get Volume 1 and Volume 2 together for like $30. 35, sorry. 35. And well, then shoot, we should do like a triple deal where you can get Lilliputian Living in addition for 35. No, 40, sorry. That is doable. So I went to go get some pictures of Volume 1 and Volume 2 together with Christmassy stuff because my mom has a lot of like very traditional Christmas decorations and I do not on purpose. I'm not a big Christmas person necessarily. It's kind of overwhelming. So I went to go get photos and that just ended up taking a lot longer than I thought because the things I wanted to use were in storage. So we had to go to storage spot and yeah, anyway. So I didn't end up leaving Luling until like 4:45 when I wanted to leave at 4:30. And I drove like the wind safely and I didn't break the speed limit by more than 5 miles per hour, but I made good time. But it just, you know, I just wasn't quick enough. And Maddie wants to see the metallic gouache and watercolors. Okay, so it's sounding like, after I get these unwrapped, it's sounding like we need to do the gouache. So I need to go dig. Actually, Joseph, would you mind switching? Can I show you how to do this so I can go dig those things up? You can say no if you don't want to. It's not hard. It's just, you have to. Yeah, thank you, by the way. So Joseph's setting up the Cara bundle. So what I'm doing is I'm removing the belly band. I'm not even taping because it's adhesive. Okay, I will try to be back very quick. Thank you so much.
I don't actually know how this is done, but I was watching Becca a little bit, so I'm sure I can figure it out.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to be able to walk me through it. No, I have no idea.
I do all my unbox and swatches live.
So you're just like tearing this in half, basically,
No,
or
I'm cutting the. I'm not tearing it on purpose, but it doesn't want to come off.
and then
So
looping around and
no,
putting it down,
it's
taping
just
it?
no.
I
It's
have
okay.
no idea what you're doing.
Oh, I cut this part off, and it's adhesive, so I just stick it to the back.
It's adhesive on both sides?
No, on the
Oh,
this side.
you're labeling
Yes,
them.
that's
I
all
thought
I'm
you were
doing.
sticking them into the pen.
No, because they're friction fit, so, and they're snapping in pretty good, so there's no need to do that.
Yeah. Toad y'all.
Sorry, I thought it was. I think I take it for granted because I do that all the time.
Yeah.
So I just quit thinking about it.
Why do you think they don't do that for you if you do it all the time?
I wish I've complained about that a lot in my student grade.
Because this probably takes at least 5 minutes, right?
It takes forever, and it's not fun to watch. But I am a nerd, and it has to be done that way, or I will explode. Oh, maybe this is the bigger calendar. Sorry, well.
And then I don't know what orientation she wants them in.
I don't care about the orientation. I just want them on.
Yeah. Oh, I tell Becca no all the time. Normally about business things, though. When it comes to personal things, she usually gets what she wants.
Okay, so far I have good news and I have bad news. Bad news is it wasn't the advent calendar. Good news is it was the foldable watercolor pads in Expert. Double bad news is they've got that stupid linen pattern that I don't love on it, but it is cotton rag. So I will probably show that.
Just let me know when I'm moving.
I will let you know.
Thanks, Cindy. Some of these are kind of stubborn. What were you misinterpreting, Hema? Becca wasn't having the best day today, so I told her if she wanted after the stream, we could head on over to Norco, our favorite place.
That's some good memories.
Yeah, well, the one thing that Norco has up, which is a town close to here, that's where we were living for about a year, has up over Destrehan, is it has some delicious beignets, and I'm sure we've talked about the beignets on stream before. Coffee and, which I don't know why they're called that, as we pointed out, because really their beignets are where it's at. Has some really nice beignets. Hey, Maddie. So when Becca's not doing great and wants some kind of snack or whatever, we'll occasionally head over there. Beignets are not the healthiest thing. Technically, I'm not supposed to have sugar today, because I had a bunch yesterday. That's okay. Yeah, Hema, the Gesundheit thing was kind of new to me. I didn't... Yeah, beignets. Beignets will fix many days, Jill. I didn't run into the Gesundheit thing. I heard some people say it in high school. I really didn't know what it meant. And then... so Becca is unable to find her expert pad, so I think she's probably going to come back, which is just in time.
A pair of scissors, because I want to see if I can find my stone. I'm so sorry. I did look for things. I thought I knew where things are. I don't know where anything is.
Just realized I'm not even really doing this on stream. Not that it's the most exciting thing, but...
Well, you are helping me out, and it is something that I would have had to do after the stream. And then I would have had to keep track of like what everything was, which is not.
You know, some of these look like candy. This one looks like candy to me.
Forbidden candy.
The yellow a little bit. This one either looks like candy or makeup. It's hard to say. No, we're not going to rank the colors on the scale of edible. This definitely looks like makeup to me. Some kind of smoky eyeshadowy thing. I don't know. I don't use makeup. And this looks like makeup to me. Yeah, so I wouldn't say beignets are the most original thing, but any kind of fried dough dessert with, you know, sugar added is always going to be a good thing. Beignets, in my opinion, are all about the texture. They're very fluffy. They've got, you know, crispy outside because they're fried in a giant vat of oil. They're not oily, though. I guess that's because of how they fry them. But yeah, they're very good. I mean, if you've had sopapillas, if you've had, I don't know, there's a bunch of fried dough desserts. You probably aren't missing too much by not having beignets, but you gotta try some kind of fried dough dessert. They're delicious. Yeah, eyeshadow palette. Yeah. I mean, like you said, some of these look more like candies, but some of them definitely do look like eyeshadow. Chewable yogurt flavored candy. You're gonna get everybody hungry. Actually, it is approaching dinner time. I think it's time for us to feed Bowie, so I'll probably go and do that in a minute. The banana Laffy Taffy. I think the banana Laffy Taffy was the only Laffy Taffy that I actually liked. Orange, sorry, y'all are just gonna mention like every brightly colored candy. I don't remember too many metallic candies. Do y'all? Okay, Becca says metallic candies are a thing now. I don't really eat candy. I mean, I definitely did when I was a kid. I had no proper nutrition as a kid, which is probably why I'm so skinny. Fraggles. So we've been to Ann Arbor a few times. I mean, yeah, you know that, Hema. You were there when we were there. I've never heard of a Fraggle, though.
A Fraggle? What's that?
Yeah. Hema said they're a thing in Ann Arbor.
I get the goal. That's bagel. What's
Yeah.
the
Probably fried. Fried bagel.
Fried bagel.
Although bagels... No, bagels aren't fried. They're yeah, boiled and then baked. Yeah, because bagels are supposed to be like healthy donuts. So whereas donuts are fried, bagels are explicitly not.
Healthy? Healthy? What is that? I'm about to eat beignets.
S'mores cookies, huh? Jella, I don't know what a Fraggle is. That's definitely a question for Hema. So I'm sure Becca's told you everything is in boxes still, basically. Most of the art supplies are all in one room, but they're not necessarily easy to get at. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay.
You can keep talking.
Bye.
Bye.
Fried with cinnamon sugar on them.
That sounds good. That does sound good. Okay, I gave it like the real college try, and I could not find my Stonehenge black watercolor paper or my Arteza Expert watercolor paper with like the normal texture. So I tried. I'm sorry, but y'all wanted to see the gouache, so I will. Ooh, those are cute. Look at those. Those are cute. Are they gonna swatch well? Who knows? But they sure are cute. I'll set those aside. Maybe we'll do those next. Okay, so we are doing the gouache. I'll move these over. Thank you for your patience, by the way. It also gives us a chance to take a look at the brushes that they've included. Okay, so these do have some sizing in them, especially this one. So, and I went and I put on my blue light blocking glasses because we lost you before beignet. S'mores cookies, that sounds good too. We've recently discovered the wonders of Costco. Like, I'm not kidding. My brother and I had never been to a Costco, and it was very much country gone to city. It was just like, wow, look at that. You can buy 200 waffle cookies. But I put my blue light glasses on because I've got like a whole bunch of light coming from over here to make sure we don't have like a bunch of shadows. And it just makes it hard for me to kind of make eye contact with you guys because the light is in my face. What is this doing? I don't know. Hopefully y'all can see stuff. Acting like Costco was a temple. If only they sold art supplies, y'all, I would be done. Are you kidding? If they sold like decent quality art supplies in bulk, I'd be like, who wants to buy an art supply advent calendar from me this year? So we're going to start with the gouache on their premium watercolor paper. Now, you guys know I am no gouache expert, but I have used it and I do know what properties we're generally looking for. We're looking for creaminess. You don't want to add a whole lot of water, so I am going to have to go grab a mixing surface. I will say that this little 6-pan dealio is not enough. Not enough right now. Not enough for swatches. Now, while we're pulling these out, we do have some important, useful information. We've got the color name, we've got light fast, we've got the opacity, we've got the pigment, and then if you wanted to reorder, and hopefully you guys can see it, we also have like the designation, the order number. On the back, nothing we haven't seen before. So I do have the Himi Jelly Gouache that I need to talk about with you guys at some point. Mostly because I thought that stuff looked really cool and people can make some really awesome looking art with it. And I know it's not the highest quality, but it seems very usable. And that's what kind of drew me to that. This is more like a standard gouache, at least so far, where it's in tubes. We don't necessarily get a whole lot, but gouache it's somewhere in between acrylic and watercolor regarding a little goes a long way. I'm trying to grab our pearlescents. I know y'all are excited about those. And we'll talk about those in a minute. It does seem like the pearl colors all have pearl before the name and then whatever color name it is. Now, one of my complaints about this kit that I don't even know if it counts as a complaint is that this kit takes up a lot of space. So, like when open and you're accessing things, you have to have the whole thing open unless you're grabbing stuff on the top 2 rows. So almost all the paints are on the bottom section, and that just makes it take up a lot of room, and some people just don't have that kind of room. So I've got my water, I've got their brushes. I'm gonna go get a palette so that we can actually mix our colors, and I'll be right back. we've got the ultra classy Dollar Tree glass plate as our mixing surface. Nothing wrong with that. In fact, you know, saving a little money here and there means we have more money for art supplies. So hopefully you guys can see everything. Scream at me if I start going too much off camera. So we're gonna start with the traditional colors. There's 12 of them, and then we're gonna, well, actually there's 11 because they did 2 whites, and then we're gonna move on to the pearlescent colors. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm just gonna put, hopefully, I can actually do it right here where y'all can see, a little, I said a little, not a lot, a little dab of each color on this, and we'll swatch them. Clean off my plate and do that again. And I know it's going to take a while, but we want to do it right. Yeah, the color gamut is a good color gamut. It's a usable color gamut. Not like, you know, a bunch of weird colors that it's like, oh, I have no idea how I'm going to use this, or like too many greens. Not that you can ever have too many greens, but you know what I mean. Like sometimes when I'm reviewing student grade stuff, it's a lot of like, why do we need 4 pinks? This is a 24 color palette. Why do we need 4 pinks? I like it when... I think it's a budget thing. Some colors are cheaper than others. What they've got. That could be. But, well, so something that kind of obfuscates is that a lot of these really cheap companies are buying their paints elsewhere, which is not unusual. But along the way, you kind of lose a lot of information, like who this palette was originally intended for, what price point is it intended for. So, like, a lot of times when stuff ends up coming to the US, it's meant for children, but it gets marked up and sold as being for adults. So like 4 pinks in a set aimed at like a Disney princess set would make sense, but 4 pinks in a, you know, plein air buildings set isn't gonna make sense, you know? Okay, so the colors, the normal colors we have are titanium white, lemon yellow, yellow ochre, scarlet red, rose, sap green, viridian green, cerulean blue, ultramarine blue, burnt umber, and noir. And they have the pigment information, the opacity information, and the light fast information. It looks like over here all of these are 3+ signs. Every company has their own light fast thing, and I don't love that. And most of these are, oh, that is an interesting choice. Ultramarine blue is transparent. And for a gouache, that is an interesting choice. But most of these are opaque or semi-opaque. And I'm going to grab just one of the flats. I did see the Build-A-Bear axolotl. That thing is so cute. They almost got me with the Build-A-Bear Animal Crossing. I mean, I was carrying around that Isabel, and I only put her down because I don't want to spend $50 at Build-A-Bear. And Joseph was like, do you really, really need her? And I was like, and we were moving at the time, so I was like, no, not really, really. Even now, I'm like, yes, but I have nowhere to put her. Sorry, I'm looking for my Copic marker so that I can do an opacity test. Oh, and here I made like a big deal about putting everything away sustainably so that I could find it again later. Ha ha ha! I'm the fool. We'll use a Mexby marker, which actually tends to react with colors. Actually, I should be smart and do the thing I like to do where we do the opacity test. So let me go grab a ruler and I'll be right back. Oh boy. Even just moving from one room to another, I don't know where anything is. I did find a ruler though. So something I've been noticing, and y'all have probably noticed it too, is that some places mark everything up a couple days before Black Friday or Cyber Saturday or Small Business Saturday, or AliExpress has been doing that with the watercolors. Because I bought a bunch of stuff and then the very next day everything went up by like 10 bucks. And I'll go ahead and do the other row for the pearlescence. I get that. I get that, Jill. That would be me if we lived closer to David's art supply. And then I would try to finagle it into, let me do videos for you guys. Okay, so it's a softer synthetic. I think it would work okay with watercolors. Seems to work okay with their gouache, actually. I'm kind of, so far, I mean, having swatched just one, I'm kind of impressed by that. I'm adding just a little bit of water, just enough to make it kind of creamy. I really wish I could have found one of my good textured black watercolor papers, because that would really give this a run for its money and give us a real chance to see how much opacity. I will find it, and I'll end up doing like a Christmas illustration or something like that. So Anna was talking earlier about how the holidays end up being the busiest, and I was thinking about that myself today, because not only do I have like normal holiday familial things that you do, but I also like to do stuff like tutorials and stuff for you guys. And then I also like to do like my year-in product reviews and stuff to help people who want to like give art supplies for Christmas. And then I'm teaching, so I'm doing that. It's like every year I just add a little bit more to the pile and wonder why I don't seem to juggle as much as I used to, but it's because I'm juggling more. Like I used to never do stuff for Black Friday. I would live on that. He's just is not at all wrong. Not one itty bitty bit about me. If I worked at a coffee shop, I would come home like wrecked and wait. You know how like little kids who have too much sugar, they want to cry and take a nap, but they're so hyped up from too much sugar that they can't do the nap, so they just cry. That would be me every day with caffeine. And also around here, I mean, I'm sure it's not just around here, but it's worse here than I've noticed it in Nashville. So around here, a lot of the local coffee chains like PJ's will hire teenagers, and you know, there's not necessarily anything wrong with employing teenagers necessarily, but their rationale is really bad. It's so that they can pay them waitress pay to be baristas and get yelled at all day by women my age and older. And I have like a real problem with talking to teenagers like that and yelling at them about stuff that's not their fault because the manager isn't there, or the manager didn't order enough of whatever. So I would probably consider working at PJ's just because I love coffee, but I don't want to get yelled at all day either. And while I might sit there and take it if somebody else yelled at me and be polite and stuff, if I saw somebody yelling at a 16-year-old girl for the same thing, I don't think I could. I think I'd get fired for yelling at the customer for yelling at the teenager.
Just throw their coffee on their car.
I would get fired for that. But it's one thing when you're an adult and you're getting paid a little bit more, not that they would, but theoretically, and you know part of your job is just going to be eating dirt. Like when I work conventions, I eat a lot of dirt from people. But that, you know, that's my business. I'm representing myself. I can kind of deal with that. But like seeing somebody else take their bad day out on a teenager who's getting $2 an hour, who's expected to smile and say, yes, ma'am, or yes, sir. I just, it feels like child abuse. I just can't sit by and watch that. Customer service is terrible. Yes. When it's your own stuff, it makes it a little bit, you know, you're invested in it. You want to make sure people have as good an experience as possible. But when it's somebody else's product, unless you really believe in it and love it and are getting paid fairly to represent it, it's asking a lot to expect somebody to be screamed at. That ultramarine blue is a little more opaque than I expected. It has some okay granulation so far. I like how I'm not talking about the paints. We're all here to talk about the paints, and I'm not talking about the paints.
The blue is very opaque. Like I can barely see the ink behind.
Yeah, well, they're gouache, so they should be opaque. Gouache is opaque watercolor, and these are behaving like gouache. I mean, we're swatching, so it's kind of hard for me to say anything super definitive about their gouache. Just because, like, I feel like painting a something with it would really tell me more of what I need to know. I can do a little bit of color mixing. These pollute the water really quick, but that also seems like, I mean, Milani can probably speak to that better than I can because she uses gouache more than I do. But I'm not going to be able to get like a clean color mix because my water is really polluted, but I will attempt to do a little. You know, these brushes are, so far they're better than I expected. They're okay. And I mean, generally I feel like Arteza is overpriced for what it is, but I feel like this, now I got this set when it was $69, so that is a way better price. But I think even at $99, it's so far not bad. You get a lot of stuff. I mean, that's not, I've talked about like those Creatology sets before where it's like, oh yeah, you get 100 pieces, but they're all terrible. It seems very workable. There are artists way better than me who use Arteza, like Nashi uses Arteza. And it seems like I can mix colors with these. So, so far not terrible. We still got to do the pearlescence. We still have so many to do. We still got to do the pearlescence. So what I'm going to do is I am going to go get a different plate and go clean out my water cup. And I will be back and we will do the pearlescence. But I will go ahead and line these up underneath. And hopefully you can see them. So usually if I were doing an unbox and swatch and not streaming, I would be taking color notes and stuff like the whole time. But it still takes a long time. Like just because we're chatting and hanging out, I'm not really taking more time than I normally would. Yeah, Maddie, that's about it. Yeah. Maddie said, I think $99 for all this stuff is good, to be honest, because they're like average tier supplies. Yes, that's about right. Mediocre, that brown's not great, but not the best, not the worst, but very workable. And you're getting a lot of very workable art supplies. Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. What our plate looks like. take a quick bathroom break as well and be right back. So now is your opportunity to go get a drink, go get a snack, go to the restroom. Now all this unboxing and swatching is riveting. And I will also try after the stream to get all of like the pigment info written up, some of my general thoughts written up, and I will share that as a blog post over on Patreon for my friends who, like me, prefer to read their art supply goodness. Sometimes tap water can vary from place to place, and water that contains a lot of minerals inside can be considered hard water. Oh, I'm actually going backwards. I don't know why. I'm so nitpicky about, like, I like to have the colors either in my own color order or the exact color order that they came in. I'm so fussy. I don't know why I'm like that. I just am. Okay, so one of the things I did notice is with these gouaches so far, it isn't like, you know how sometimes with watercolor when you squeeze it out, you get this like big gloop of like gum arabic or extender or something. I'm not really having a problem with that right now, which I do appreciate. Let me be weird. No weird, awful smells so far either. I know the first time I reviewed the Arteza tubes, I thought they smelled terrible, like reeds. And you guys know what I'm talking about. There's like good art supply smells and then there are bad art supply smells. And like when you're first coming into it, it all just smells like art supplies. But like as you learn which supplies are gonna fight you, you start associating that with like the bad art supply smell, and the art supplies that are fun to use or that you enjoy using, they have like this nice art supply smell. Yeah. So what I liked about my other work setup, in as the student grade showdown unbox and swatches come out, most of those, in fact, I haven't recorded any new ones other than this since switching spaces. Those were all recorded in the great room, and like right behind me, I had like a mini wet bar, and there's like a sink in there. That's my watercolor sink now, and I have a drying rack that has all of my palettes on it. And once we get the house fully set up and I'm not like walking around giant piles of boxes, it's not gonna be like, it's not far away. It's very convenient. But oh, those are so cute, all laid out on a palette like this. Talk about aspirational art supplies. Sometimes I think I should like set up a sub Instagram account that's just like art supplies displayed prettily, even if they're not any good at all. Exactly. Eva said the palette looks very aesthetic right now. Yeah, very like, I'm gonna make some art. And I really should be like taking photos of that. Ooh, ooh, the pearlescence, really pretty. What? This isn't a gray. It's a like an eggshelly cream. I love cream colored too, so it's that color. These are nice so far. Actually, I kind of like their gouache. Which is funny because it might be a little behind. Gouache and I have not always been friends, but maybe this will be it. Maybe this is when I like the look of gouache. Like I like when other artists do gouache stuff. I don't know. I think it's I have friends who are like really good at acrylics and stuff, but they're terrible at watercolor. And I kind of have this theory that if you're good with working with opaque medium and dealing with the opacity of that medium, then transparent mediums are a little bit harder. And if you're good with transparent mediums, then opaque mediums are a little bit more difficult. So I love transparent mediums. I love watercolor. I love markers. So I kind of struggle with more opaque, but maybe doing something with these pretty pearlescent gouaches will kind of help me get in a better mindset. And I never read the colors to you guys. Let's see if I can read and swatch. Probably not. I can't even chew gum and walk at the same time. So first we have Pearl White Rose. Then we have Pearl Sage Green. Oh, that's like not a sage green. That's like barely there at all. That's like maybe a gray, maybe. Then we have Pearl Apricot. So that's kind of the orangey color. Then we have Pearl Coral. Okay, yeah, I could see that as a coral. Then we have Pearl Bubblegum Pink. Yes, that is definitely very much a bubblegum pink. I wonder if these can be dried out in half pans and reconstituted. Oh no. Wait a sec. I mean, most people don't even work with gouache that way. I don't know why I'm like, yeah, I should try it. That sounds like a plan. Then we have Pearl Emerald Green. Then we're actually on the color we're on, so I caught up. Good job. Then we have Pearl Cerulean Blue. And what I like is that these include the pigment and as well as mica. Now I know some glitters are actually terrible for the environment, the ones that have that are like micro metals and microplastics. Is mica also one of the ones? I know mica is a naturally occurring mineral, but like, am I being horribly irresponsible here, or is it, I don't know, like, yeah, or is it, I mean, I wouldn't go around eating mica. Oh, that was Pearl Lavender. They do make edible glitters. Then we have Bronze. And something I should test for at some point is how well these layer and whether they reactivate and peel off. Because that's one of the reasons in the past me and gouache have not necessarily gotten along, is I just couldn't get used to it totally reactivating. Then we have Gold. And I also was on the wrong paper because I was using, this was kind of before the black watercolor paper became a common thing in the US. So I was using like black sketch paper, and it had a tendency to want to crack off the paper. Then we have Silver. Kind of getting them into each other. And then we have Pearl Gray. That's like a Bowie color. Bowie the cat. He's being very good and asleep. And it is definitely Edo time. Treato time, Edo time. Okay, I'm going to do a little color mixing with these. I don't know if they're really, like, if that's the intention, but I like to mix my metallics. So that is blue and green. And they, I mean, obviously they pollute the water cup quite a bit, so you are going to want to clean it out good. Pearl and bubblegum do not want to mix. Not pearl and bubblegum. The blue and bubblegum didn't want to mix. The blue and the red that's just a gray. That's not like a blue gray. That's not a purple, but that's okay. Let's try purple and pink. Yeah, that pink. Okay, these don't really want to mix. I wonder if it's me or something I'm doing wrong. That's right. He stole a chicken leg out of the garbage can. We don't yet have a good locking garbage can. Let's try and make a Payne's Gray using bronze and ultramarine. That's kind of a pretty color. Yeah, that's not a Payne's Gray, but that kind of works. I always like these more subdued colors anyway. So what do you guys think of the gouache just so far? I know it's hard to tell without handling it, but do you think this one? Oh. It's being slow. Bowie might not be hungry, but I'm hungry. This one here. Oh, it's going to take forever. I'm sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so the one I was gesturing at that you still can't see. Oh, I forgot to turn the recording on for the gouache, so I didn't get any of the pearlescence on my secondary recording. Oh, well. Okay, so while I clean this up, do you guys want to see the tube watercolors next? The pearlescent watercolors next? The acrylic tubes next? The gel pens next? The acrylic markers next? And that's what we got. That's it. So let me know in the chat while I clean these things up. It certainly is an interesting collection of supplies. Shiny stuck in my head, which I don't know well enough to sing. Shiny. That's all I got. But he wasn't even alive for that. Shiny. He was working on Black Star, wasn't he? half pan. Okay, let's see. We got acrylic markers and we got half pan watercolors. So we're tied. Somebody break the tie. I got to get through all of them at some point. Yep. I do. Even. Huh? I do. I do. I do. I do. I'm glad I started earlier because I think the beignet place would be closed if I started at my normal time. Although if Sundays work well for you, we can do the power hour streams on Sundays. I do need, because it never takes just an hour. Power 5 hour stream. Power 5 ever. Okay. Good night, Tanner. All right. More votes for the half pans. So I will do the half pans and probably the regular watercolors and then do the acrylic markers. I'm gonna have to do something really sparkly for my field test with these. So we're still using the same watercolor paper. This is their cellulose watercolor paper. Generally, when I do the unbox and swatches, I use cotton rag paper because I like to be as fair as possible and as consistent as possible and try to give everything I review the best shot I can at success. Because I have reviewed some really inexpensive but good art supplies. But we're working with what they've included. So I think that's pretty fair. So we'll start with theirs. And they have 2 swatch sheets. One on black, which is not even a watercolor paper. It's like a sketch paper, very thin. And then one on this kind of, it's a cellulose paper. It's almost like a cardstock. I do like the inclusion of the swatch cards. And these smell like chemicals. So just kind of keep that in mind. It doesn't bode well. These are not candies, despite our jokes. So I'm going to go ahead and spritz them down, give them a chance to absorb some of that water. And we'll switch over to the included round. Actually, something that would have been nice is like a swatch book for all of these so you could have them all in one place. Oh, enjoy your dinner. I will honestly still be streaming for a long time, probably. Not making quick progress, but that's all right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the white swatches and then we'll move on to the black swatches. Let me make sure everything is in frame and people can see it. Do you guys want me to adjust the camera a little bit closer? Are y'all good? We'll move our palette over to the side. Okay, so pre-activating it, we do get a lot of color, but frankly, that is something you're going to want to see with these sort of pearlescent watercolors. You really want to, I think you really want to see them a little bit more opaque. Like that's something I like about the fine text is that they're more opaque. And what I'm going to do with these is I'm going to get fancy. Now, normally I get super fancy and tape them down, but we got to do quick changes today. So I'm not taping them down, but I am doing half full color or attempting full color and half like washed out like I, would do with my normal swatches. I'm glad that YouTube is saying the stream is in excellent condition because I've been having some internet problems and I was a little bit worried. I know, Joseph fixed it. He was awesome. While I was out in Luling taking product photos, he was getting everything set up for the stream and I really, really appreciate it because everything would be so much harder without his help. So a huge, huge thank you to Joseph. Also for being a good sport because I know he likes you guys and he likes chatting with y'all, but he doesn't necessarily want to be on the stream. So a big thank you for him filling in for me while I tried to track down those papers. I know it's not your first choice, but I do appreciate it. It does help out, because otherwise it would have just been empty stream. Although I couldn't find them anyway, so maybe I just would have decided not to even look. But then it would have bugged me, you know what I mean? I think these have okay coverage so far. It did, yes. I wish all of them had, because I really like when they, first of all, they make... It does, yes. I know, I like it. It is, the black isn't. The black is just kind of a black cardstock with no texture to it. And, I mean, that's not going to demonstrate what these are really capable of. So I usually, that's why I went digging for the Stonehenge, because I feel like that would be a fairer representation. Ooh. So if you pre-activate these, you do get decent coverage with them. Oh, hi, Avis. Good evening. Happy Sunday. These are some pretty colors, though. I was 100% set to not like these because I am very picky when it comes. I love metallic watercolors, but I'm very picky about them. And pretty much I just like the fine tech ones. But these are all right. And it's because they have decent coverage. I mean, you're going to use them up quick because they glob up on your brush, but... Oh, I think these were poured too and not extruded.
Arteza is like priced like all of those lucky brands, but it's slightly better.
No, it's a little weird. It's higher than a lot of the really cheap brands. It is a little better.
The ones that are all the same thing, but they get relabeled or whatever. I know they have more with markers, but I can't think of what that's called.
White labeling? Well, white labeling is when another company manufactures it and you buy it and you relabel it, which is not necessarily the worst thing. A lot of companies do it. I just think it's boring to review because sometimes I will buy something from two different companies and the way the copy's written makes them sound like they are different products with different formulations, and then come to find out it's just the same thing with a different label on it. And it's such a waste of my time and money and energy. These are okay though. I am not unhappy with these. And they're a little bit more compact than my fine tech. So these could be, and they are, okay, another thing is Arteza sells any of these, I think, open stock. You can buy any of those products if you just want one. If there's just one you like and you don't like all the other ones, you can just buy, sorry, checking the recording. You can just buy that one thing. So you can buy the metallic sets. In fact, they have like a 24 metallic set. But this 12 metallic set is fine by me. Are you talking about like the Creatology kits that I reviewed where they claim they have like oil pastels, but they're just wax crayons, really? Like that level of bad? These are definitely a lot better than that.
No, I kind of just meant all the ones that have like a bunch of optical brightness in them.
No. I wish I could say that. Honestly, though, the gouaches and these are better than most of the things I've reviewed from Arteza, and I'm really happy about that. That 12 set I showed you guys earlier is full of optical brighteners. And spoiler for the Unbox and Swatch, I thought it was overpriced for how it performs and don't like it. And I would recommend you get the Mart watercolors if you're looking for a small pocket watercolor set in a student grade price range. The Mart watercolors are cheaper, you get more colors, and they perform better. Of course, nothing is for certain until I do the field tests. So spoiler for a different video, I just finished up the Rosa Galleria field test. Like I haven't even done the voice work for it yet. It's like stitched together, but it's not finished. So I haven't even sent it to my patrons. And I was really thinking I was going to like them because I really like them in the Unbox and Swatch. I love the price point. They handle a lot like White Knights, But when I went to do the field test, I really struggled to get color saturation out of any of the colors. Like anytime I mixed a color or added even a little bit water, if I wasn't working directly full strength, it lost all of its color. And I was just really disappointed to see that. And I know like the Frugal Crafter seems to like them, and the work she did with them was gorgeous. So I'm like, maybe I'm just handling them wrong. Maybe the size I'm painting at isn't, you know, really the best fit for that. Like with the Daniel Smith half pans, I just work too small for the Daniel Smith half pans to look good with my work because they granulate a lot, and with the size I work at, it just doesn't work well. It's not a good proportion. Sometimes when that happens, I feel like I'm just like got the wrong memo or something, you know what I mean? Or like maybe I got a bad batch when I don't like something and everyone else has had like a good experience with it. I feel like I'm going a little nuts. Okay, so this is the swatches on their included black paper. I look forward to seeing how these dry because wet, they're very vibrant and they've got good opacity, but they, you know, watercolor, it always dries a little bit different than it looks wet. And then here it is on their included cellulose, watercolor swatch paper. Still really pretty. I look forward to seeing how those dry as well. I'm going to set this aside so it can dry because we spritzed them to activate them, so they're all wet. And I'm going to clean out my water cup and we're going to try out the watercolors next. And then I'm going to do the acrylic markers. I have not forgotten. And I still have shiny stuck in my head. Shiny. Shiny. I did upload a couple new videos. I shared them recently. It's just been hard to juggle everything. So basically when I have enough time to like sit down and do something, I'm either recording or I'm trying to get stuff uploaded. So they might be scheduled and they should be coming out this week. They might not actually be live today. I had to think about that, sorry. Y'all are the best, by the way. Thank you guys so much for keeping me company. This when I got this box, I was really excited about it, but I was also kind of overwhelmed because it is so much. And it was like, oh, that's going to be just several days of me doing it alone by myself. Okay, so with the watercolors, generally, with tube watercolors like this, I will sometimes see, especially with cheaper brands, a lot of extender or gum arabic coming out when I first apply the color to whatever palette I'm using. So I'm definitely looking to see if that's an issue this time. And we have our color name, we have our light fast info, we have our opacity, and we have the pigment used. That's for the tube watercolors. The half pans, that they don't give you any info about these things. And people, like wet canvas people, have written in to ask Arteza. And basically the most answer they've gotten is that they're trying to get their supplier to tell them what the pigment info is, which is not Not a great sign. So I did review the 24-piece watercolors a couple years ago. It was right after a lot of people were like a lot of bigger name YouTubers were reviewing them, and everybody seemed to like them. And I thought that was like a little suspicious, but also, you know, I was excited about it. I was like, that's cool. I want to try this brand out. And I bought them and I did not like them. And then I found out later that some of those YouTubers were getting sent the watercolors and not necessarily like care of and not necessarily disclosing that. So I don't know. There are some artists who still use the Arteza watercolors and really like them, and it doesn't seem like they're getting paid to do so. So it could just be a matter of taste. It could be a matter of how we're handling the watercolors. You know, there's a lot of differences in how people do things. So I'm not saying anything one way or the other. I'm just saying, like, the first time I reviewed these, I really didn't like them. In fact, I tried drying them out in half pans and I hated them so much. I ended up just cleaning out the half pans and the tin and using it for something else. And I never even did a field test with these. So this could be a good chance for redemption. Maybe I got a bad batch. Maybe they've improved their formulation. I like to give companies second chances, but I don't like to get burned twice. So we've got a little bit of art supply redemption going on tonight. So come on, Arteza. So far, I like the gouache. I like the pearlescent watercolors. I know, right? We need some like epic, high fantasy, high stakes music. So I believe with the watercolors we get, this looks more like, this doesn't look like 12. I'm gonna have to count. I'm so sorry. I wish I just knew things. Okay, this one did give me a little bit of gum arabic. Not actually a problem. Many watercolors, many nice watercolors extrude a little bit of gum arabic when you first use a tube. But that was the only one that happened with. And usually I see more of that. These don't smell as bad as they did the first time I reviewed them. Maybe I got a bad batch the first time. I mean, let's not mince words about Arteza. Arteza is definitely a student grade brand for the most part. That's just, you know, what Arteza is. That's the quality we're dealing with. So I am judging these based on how I would judge other student grade watercolors. I do expect to see some extenders and some optical brighteners, but they shouldn't hinder the performance of the paint too much. I love how I always start with the white, and the white is what pollutes the water the most. I'm still using their brushes. I'm going to use their brushes probably the whole time, unless there's like a good reason not to. Generally, I don't paint a whole lot with synthetic, mostly because I just find them a little more springy than I really want. But synthetic can be a really good, affordable option, and all of my larger watercolor brushes are synthetic brushes, and I think all my flats are synthetic brushes. So, you know, I mostly, when I say I paint with like natural, or I paint with a synthetic natural mix, that's mostly for the smaller sizes, anything smaller than 10. And that's, again, personal preference. One of my really good friends does beautiful watercolor illustrations, and she really prefers synthetic because she's even more heavy-handed than I am. And I'm kind of beating it, and I'm kind of whipping it because I want to make sure I get a good mix of water and paint together so that we're not, you know, getting clumps. I am finding the watercolor is a little harder to wash out of the brush. That's honestly probably more to do with the length of the bristles and it just kind of getting trapped in the belly. And while I like tube watercolors in general, typically I will dry them out into half pans and use them like that. I have a cat and I don't like getting, I mean, my palette looks gnarly, but if I were working with open tube paints, I think I'd have a bigger issue with cat hair than I currently have. I would like to see more granulation. However, I am using their paper, and cellulose paper doesn't always show the best that a paint has to offer. I'm just grateful these don't stink. The first time I used them, they had this really overwhelming, cheap smell to them, and these seem to be a little bit better. So maybe they've switched who they work with, or maybe they've upped the quality, or they've gotten rid of a particular extender that was a little more whiffy than others. So generally, if I were doing an unbox and swatch, you know, this would be time lapse, obviously, and I'd be voicing over it. And I would also I'd let them dry fully, and we would do color mixing, and we would do a wet into wet test. That's kind of a new thing I've added ever since the Mia watercolor has burned me, just to see how well the pigments kind of diffuse into water. And we would also do a lift test. I am not necessarily planning on doing, I'm not doing that. Is where I was going. I'm not doing that. But if there is any art supply in here that, like the gouache, for example, that I feel like I kind of like it and it's got some potential and I want to play with it more, you'll probably see a little bit more of it. So I feel like and maybe it's because I'm in a good mood and I'm chatting with you guys and that puts me in better spirits, but I feel like this kit is better than what I've gotten used to with Arteza, which is really good, because I after doing that 12 color half pan palette, I was kind of like, oh no, this is gonna be bad. I don't want to like snark the entire time, because like that's not really how I want to spend our time together, you know, just being angry at an art supply. How do I feel about these watercolors? I think I would do a field test with this, maybe. I don't know. Gotta see how they dry, because I'm already seeing some chalkiness, and that's something I never really want to see. I don't mean opacity. I like opacity, like this blue is fine. But these also seem to have like the same level of opacity, which they shouldn't. And a lot of these tubes do say opaque, semi-opaque, with only the ultramarine blue having a full transparency, which for watercolor is kind of concerning. I'm looking over towards the gouache, and after everything dries, we can talk and do some comparisons on camera, but I'm just kind of looking over at the gouache over here, and frankly, some of these are about as opaque as the gouache, which is not something I want to see from watercolor. I do want to see some differences in the colors, and differences between watercolor, which is a more transparent medium, and gouache, which is really similar to watercolor but is a more opaque medium. The fact that they are swatching very similar is a big red flag for me. And that usually boils down to the extenders, the optical brighteners, so like PW6, things that are used to make them look more appealing in the store, more appealing in a half pan or on your palette, but not as well behaved in actual practice. And usually I would judge how muddy the water gets, how milky the water gets, but I started with white, so that's not fair. I'm not going to use this to judge it today, but the smell is better and they're handling a little bit better, but I would still say these are not my favorite student grade watercolors by a really long shot. Right now I'm doing some just basic secondary color mixes just to see if I can mix like some good clean oranges and greens and stuff. Not too milky. When I say clean, this is kind of milky looking. We'll see how it dries, but it's not as transparent as I would like. This is a cellulose paper, so it's not the best reflection of how these paints might perform, but it is what they included in the kit, so I feel like it's fair for me to use it. Also trying to mix purple I mean, I can do some color mixing. In terms of this kit, they're just very similar to the gouache they included. With the gouache, let me grab the gouache. With the gouache that they included being a little more opaque, but these watercolors are really pretty opaque for what they are. So that's a really, so this is the gouache and this is the watercolor. It's just a really big concern for me, you know. As a watercolor artist, I like to do a lot of layers. I like to do a lot of color mixing. I like to do a lot of glazing, and I don't think I'm going to be able to do it with these. So I'm just not feeling their watercolors. Their tube watercolors. I wasn't really feeling their half pan watercolors either. So that is one area. Arteza does a lot of sales in, it seems like. They're always introducing new colors. I would really like to see them improve their watercolors, which I know is a lot to ask because they've got an extensive watercolor lineup now and they're always introducing like new skin tones and stuff. But it's just still, the quality is still not really there for me. Maybe they have like a pro line of watercolors, because like something I've noticed is for the half pans, they've pulled everything but the 12-piece sets. I don't know if that's a supply chain issue or if that's they want to work with a new vendor, so they're trying to liquidate their stock. I am never privy, it seems like, to the art supply tea until that tea has been spilled. But I did notice that it would be great if they went with a vendor who had higher quality watercolors, tube and half pan. It seems like their tube and their half pan vendors are different people, different companies. I wanted to like them. I really did, y'all. Anyway, the colors that we just swatched are titanium white, lemon yellow, yellow ochre, scarlet red, crimson red, light green, sap green, cerulean blue. This isn't really a cerulean blue like I would think of a cerulean blue. That's like a cyan. Ultramarine blue, burnt sienna, burnt umber, and noir. And the only color that really granulated the way I would like to see these granulate would be the ultramarine blue. And then this is my palette, Much Aesthetic. So I'm going to leave you guys with these right now. Hopefully you guys can read the color names if you want them and the pigment information and all that while I go swap this out. And next we're going to take a look at their acrylic markers. So I do want to say that just because I'm kind of about their watercolors, these watercolors, it doesn't actually spoil how I feel about the box itself. It doesn't, I mean, these watercolors are handling the way I'm used to Arteza watercolors handling, so they are not worse. Might be even a little bit better. And maybe this time I'll force myself to do a field test with them and like really be able to talk about them in depth, complain about them in depth. But I liked the gouache, and I liked the metallic watercolors, and I liked the metallic gouache. So far, so good. I would still say this kit is probably at least a $99 value. And before I say goodbye to you guys tonight, I'm going to like crunch the costs for everything, and we'll figure out what the actual value is. In these kind of kits, I always want to see you getting a deal. It's the same way I feel about art boxes. Like, I always want to see you getting a deal. I know that's maybe not fair to the art boxes, but that's what I want. So this is the watercolor paper. We could use the acrylic markers on that. It should work, but acrylic markers tend to prefer a smooth paper. So I've got the canvas pads, and I've got the black foldable, and I feel so bad wasting one of the foldables for this, but I'm gonna do it. And we've also got the canvas boards and the canvases, but I'm gonna save those for something fun, something else. We'll see. So this will be neat because this will actually give us a chance to kind of try assembling one of these, and the instructions are on the back. We'll see how well I can follow instructions. I think many people in my life would say I don't follow instructions as well as they would like. That's the ADHD legit though. I have to, like, I do better with like written instructions that I can reference and re-reference and reference again, like 1,000,000 times. All right, so we are gonna do the acrylic markers, and then after the acrylic markers, we're gonna do the gel pens since I'm already wasting one of these. And then that will leave us with talking about the water brush and the acrylics. Okay, so I like the build quality on these so far. Looks pretty well built. They have replaceable tips. I like that. We have the color number, the color name. It really wouldn't surprise me if these correspond across the line. I actually really like when companies do that, where the color, you can match colors very easily, like Faber-Castell does that, and I really like that. They use a water-based ink, not surprising. They are acrylics, non-toxic. These are still manufactured in the People's Republic of China. So the instructions say to shake, shaka, pumpa, pumpa, and then we draw. It's got a little, hear that? The shaker clacker in there? Little maracas. We've got some percussion going on. Okay, so I shook. And then usually what I do is I just pump until I see it getting started, and then I will store them inverted. And these have replaceable tips. I'm not going to actually replace them with the chisels. They do come with these tweezers so that you don't have to get your hands dirty. They're plastic tweezers. I would recommend you hold and pull like that. Are they double-sided? We are getting some silver going though. So that's kind of neat. They theoretically could be refillable. I don't know off the top of my head if Arteza offers refills for these though. You've been so patient, Justice. Hopefully they're good. Hopefully they're worth it. Have I tried Arteza acrylic markers before? This is my first time with these. I've tried a few other brands acrylic markers, and I like acrylic markers. So I'm hoping I like these because I think the Liquitex ones, while good, are a little pricey. And while I love Poscas, they're not really waterproof the way acrylic markers are waterproof. They're more like a temporal marker. So it would be really, honestly, really fun to do like some ornaments or something using acrylic markers. And I don't know about y'all, but I gotta have all the colors. So if these are good and affordable, they feel light. I will say that though, they do feel kind of light. That could just be me. This is where I would normally time lapse it or cut it out entirely. But that's kind of good. You guys can see. Honestly, Blick has been very slow with getting stuff out. I ordered their Derwent charcoal half pans. I want to show those to you guys. And they took forever to come in. I have a burnt sienna I ordered 2 years ago, still on back order. I don't know what's going on with Blick these days, but I mean, I used to love Blick, especially when I lived near a Blick, but it's just, I think it's like probably going back to like global supply chain issues, you know? Okay, so this one got going a little bit quicker. That's good. That's a pretty pearly color too. Except it's titanium white, so there you go. What do I know? Here, we'll save some time. You wouldn't believe, because we're painting the house, so we're buying we're buying paint. I hear this all the time, like once a week when we go to Home Depot to get more paint. Should have brought these over to Home Depot. Can you shake them for me? The shaking isn't the problem. It's the pumping, the getting them started. It sounds like training. You know, you remember that Pokemon? I know Hema remembers that Pokemon walking is a pedometer, and it was Pikachu themed, and it counted your steps, but it also, like, the more you walk, the more it unlocked, and it had a shaka in it. I know, like, Pokemon Go is a pedometer, basically, but, like, oh, man, I think I still have it somewhere. It is probably very DED, but I mean, this is whatever. Anyway, I didn't play the Pokemon games growing up. I watched the anime and I played the card game a smidgen. And I am just a sucker for like cute animal designs. So I like it for that, but I never got into it the way some people did. But the new Pokemon cartoon, new as of like last year, where it's like following 3 kids and the Pokemon are more like a daily life kind of thing instead of a battle monsters thing, that seems like my jam. Okay, so this one's finally going. Honestly, maybe what I should do, I know this is gonna be like, no, Becca, because while I'm waiting for the acrylics to saturate the tip, is maybe I should go ahead and do the gel pens first. I should have started with these. I know some of y'all voted for it. Y'all could see the future. That's what's going on. I should have started these because I always forget that getting acrylic or Posca stuff started, it just takes. It's not the shaking, it's the pumping. You know, super exciting to watch. Everybody's favorite. It's what people pay the big money for. No, that was a good pencil too. All the stupid, like, because I'm pumping it and I'm using the desk to brace it, shook a pencil. I know. Sorry, y'all. I should have been doing it like this. You could tell I'm out of practice. All right, let's see if we've got some color. Okay, we do have some color in the tip. So I really like the Molotow chrome markers. Those things are super cool. I don't expect these to be like that. You know, I'm not expecting that level of cool. Is acrylic markers like what Poscas are? Kinda, but no. Poscas are like liquid. Yeah, Poscas are a proprietary blend. They are super secretive. I've been trying to get them to, actually, that's not bad. I've been trying to get Posca to get back to me for years about, like, give me an idea. And all they'll say is, we're water-based. So I'm thinking they're tempera. They don't seem to be acrylic. Dr. Bennett said these seem to take longer to prime. They do seem to take longer to prime. I wonder if it's because they don't have as much acrylic in them. They're fine so far, though. I mean, I'm going to also test to see if I can layer them, because that's kind of important. They are a little bit scratchy, but I mean, a lot of this kind of acrylic marker is scratchy. They're not bad, and I hate to say this, it makes me want to go buy like some white Chuck Taylors and like draw all over them. And I say it's bad because I am currently queen of like inventing projects and then not finishing projects, and I really need to finish my projects, and then I can do that. What am I going to do with this black marker? I don't know. I will set it aside for right now. I want to let these dry and be fair and then do a second layer. An army of swatching children. This is a terrible joke. I used to say that when I have kids, I'm going to teach them how to draw so they can help me with my comics, but I don't think, I mean, I'll teach them how to draw, but I don't think that's the reason anymore. These look so much like Sakura jelly rolls, and I love Sakura jelly rolls. So hopefully these are good. It is glitter and gel pen in a 1.0 tip, so 1 millimeter, I guess, although then we're getting down to consistent sizing. So gel pens, as y'all know, always take a couple minutes to get started. This one didn't take long. This is real pretty on the black because I think this is an interference color because this looks like it. This is going to be so hard for y'all to see. I'm so sorry. It looks like a dark blue. Also, that clicker noise, Bowie's clicker trained. So that means he knows that when we click the clicker, we want him to come and he will get fed or get a treat. So Joseph's feeding him. He got into the Popeyes and that's why he wasn't hungry. So these gel pens, they are gel pens. They're very glittery. They feel very light and a little bit cheap, but that's me comparing them to jelly rolls, and jelly rolls are really nice. They write okay. They write smooth so far. I mean, the big test with these kind of things is how long they actually last. They do not show up opaque on the black paper, which is a little disappointing, but these might not be meant to. Like if they're like jelly rolls, there's like a bunch of different types of jelly rolls, and there are just some that are just like glitter in a clear liquid, and they're really just meant for, you know, adding like cute sparkly accents, and these could be that. And if that is the case, they work quite well. I hope these are showing up for you guys. Yes, the Poke Walker. So I never told you guys how many watercolors we have. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 watercolors. And for the gel pens, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 gel pens. So it's a good color selection. Oh, okay. All right. This one shows up. That's a silver. Looks like it's white, but it's silver. Not bad. These write okay. There are some build quality issues. I don't know how long these will live. My problem, I love gel pens, and I was in 7th grade when gel pens were like a thing. I don't know if they were a thing again, but they were a thing when I was in 8th grade. Like, they got confiscated, a thing. Everybody, oh, the gold's not as cool as the silver. Anyway, so I have a lot of experience with gel pens and a lot of opinions about gel pens, and you know, Zebra used to make some really good gel pens that would last a really long time. For some reason, the white ones would last okay, but the silver and the gold ones died like immediately. So the thing about gel pens is they might look like they're great, and they, you know, if I went to grab them tomorrow and then they're dead, you know. The blue's pretty. I'm gonna have to swatch these on white paper too. I'm really having a Lenovo for these. Also, I want to like say a big thanks to everybody who stuck with me for the majority of the stream. Ooh, that orange is cute. That's like pumpkin. I appreciate it. Thank you for hanging out. I know this is a longer stream. I appreciate the company. It makes I love unboxing and swatching, but it makes it more like what I used to really love, which was hanging out with my friends and like a bunch of us bringing different art supplies and everybody getting to try out something new. That orange is pretty, but it's drawing more of a yellow. I hope it's like a shading color. The gel pens are surprisingly not bad. They're pretty good unless they die like a week from now, as gel pens are wont to do. Were any of you guys little fools like I was? So when a gel pen would die, hey Heidi, we would do the amazing thing of putting them in our mouths and sucking them to get the gel to move up in the thing. And as you guys can imagine, people would end up with like mouths of like gel pen. And that has happened to me a couple times, and it is foul. So put them in hot water if they die. That's good to know, because for some reason, a lot of them tend to die on me. I'm just like the kiss of death when it comes to gel pens. But I am so far kind of impressed. Some of these things are pretty good, and that makes me happy because I was like wondering if Arteza, like everything Arteza makes is bad, or am I just picking the wrong, am I just obsessed with the wrong thing, or what? This paper is kind of cool too because it's very smooth. It's like a mixed media paper, but a little bit smoother, and it's gonna fold up into a frame, which is just neat. Okay. Let's see if we can get, or if it scrapes it off, because that's something that sometimes acrylic markers will do that I hate. There's a little bit of scraping on the prior layer. It could be because this is such a smooth paper. I'm willing to give it the benefit of the doubt. White seems to handle a little better, so it could also be like just something with the metallic, with the way the mica flakes are aligned. Oh, the bronze kind of wants to scrape. And Heidi says that a lot of metallic gel pens have both glitter and a dye in them, so they'll look a little different on black and white paper. The weather down here is like about 60, so it's so good. I was saying that today, like it's been in the 70s, which is pretty normal for Louisiana. We have gotten some cooler days. Fortunately, they've been like cool and crisp rather than like, you know, just like nasty cold. And I still need to do something with this black marker. I'm gonna set it aside for now. How many markers do we get? Acrylic markers. We get 5 acrylic markers. And now I have to read instructions and learn how, this is like the labo. I ought to make Joseph come help me because we do the labos together. This is like the labo. I love the labo. Like, I just want to build the labos. I think they're so cute. And I just love like the paper crafting, attention to detail, and like how they explain how to do it is just fun and satisfying. And like, I don't really care about the mini games. I like the building the things out of the cardboard. And I guess I should like get a KiwiCo subscription at some point, because that seems like what KiwiCo does, especially their Eureka box. No, not a sponsor. I've just been kind of looking into them. Oh my gosh, thank you, Dr. Bennett. Dr. Bennett just sent us $5, which y'all know is immediately going to go right back into my art supply addiction. Okay, so this is kind of like the labo. Turn it over and we fold it, and they're not super clear about their instructions. I mean, you could decorate this whole thing. This is neat. I will give them that. These like foldable frames. This is neat. And this is another. So I know kids and teens aren't just their only demographic, but I love that these, like, you already make the frame with it. It kind of. Ooh, wait a minute. I got gold dust all over my hands. Let's try something real quick. Okay, so with the gel pens, they are going to migrate. So you want to be kind of careful when you handle them. To me, it kind of teaches this notion that your art, yes, your art is valuable and important and not just trash, and that you should display it and put it up. And I love that. Okay, so then I do these. These instructions could be better. A box and swatch? Because I am making a box. Ooh, the acrylics are a little sticky too. Are the nibs pretty sturdy on the markers? Yes, actually, they are very sturdy. There was a little bit of ink flow issue, but I think it's because they're brand new. And they were very scratchy, but they were pretty sturdy. They weren't mushy. I think they could honestly, I think they could probably stand up to using them on like unprimed canvas, maybe. if you wanted to, like, you know what I mean? Like that kind of like almost like a sandpaper texture. Okay, so they just skip. It's like they skip in steps. Maybe I'm overthinking. I overthink everything. So that's, and not in a good way. So like that's probably what's going on. I'm probably overthinking. So I'll try to just do. I do need an extra set of hands for this. Am I missing something? Am I missing something? I was missing something, okay. Yeah, I like that they're making products that I wish for some of their products, I do wish the product quality was better, but I kind of like where we're going with this. Sorry, I'm almost done. I got it. Look. See, I got it. I just got to finish getting it. Because like, I teach kids a lot and teens. And Heidi knows what I'm talking about. Where when you're teaching even adult artists, actually, you really butt your head against people who feel like what they make isn't good enough. And it's not coming from a place of, but I'm going to improve. It comes from a place of it totally stops them from making things. And that breaks my heart because like I'm not by a long shot the best artist. And I believe that almost that art is a skill. I mean, yes, some people do have more talent than others. They have eyes and a memory for it, or they have more dexterity in their hands, or they're a quicker learner, sure. But I feel like art is a skill that if you really want and you practice, you can make progress, and eventually you can draw the things you want to draw. And so I like when companies sell or create things that kind of champion this art is for everyone. Art is something worth pursuing for anyone who wants to. And I think like this makes it into a special object, and I like that. I mean, we are wasting a lot of the paper to creating the box, but I like the idea that now this is something like it's got like little hanging doop-doops here, you know, like this makes it into something more special, and I like that. Or like, and Etcher's selling these too, but they also have like the cotton postcards, and I love the idea of art as this object that you send to somebody else, that you send the original to. It's just, it's like from the heart, you know? And I do actually appreciate that area that they're coming from. I think that's really cool. I wish their quality was a little better sometimes, but I like the heart of it, I think is cool. Okay, so I am grabbing, because we're gonna do the acrylics, and I am grabbing the canvas pad, which is actual canvas, which is kind of cool. Which is good, because me and oils, they didn't give me alcohol markers, but they didn't give me, if you're just tuning in, they didn't give me any of this. This was purchased out of pocket, but in the set, yeah, and I know everybody currently watching is pretty familiar with the fact that I use Patreon money to buy these things. So it's not like I'm working with any of these companies in general. And I try to always tell you guys when I do, because I like to be honest with y'all. And I do think it can bias me. Maybe a little, like maybe I'm not as harsh when it's not my money going down the drain for a bad product. It doesn't make me like a product more. It just makes me not dislike a product as much, I think. So I generally try to buy almost everything that I review. But yeah, they sent you in this kit. There are a lot of things. And in the other kit I have, I think they cover the rest of the gamut minus oils. And I'm glad, because I don't know anything about oils. I don't have any experience with oils. I can't. Okay. So with the acrylics, we have regular colors and then we have pearl colors. So I'm going to do the regular colors first. I have never used the Arteza oil acrylics, sorry. And I am going to use the brushes that they included because that's what they included. And I think that's a pretty fair test. Oh, good night, Melani. So, you know what? I'm going to try it. I'm going to do the alcohol marker just to test opacity. We'll see. I wasn't going to because I don't know how well it'll adhere. But why not? Sorry, I talk so much. I'm getting the hiccups now. But you know what? It's the stream curse. I have to say that I am so glad that we streamed tonight. I wanted to stream. I missed hanging out with y'all. And the day was just kind of throwing a lot of curveballs. But I'm so glad that we kind of pushed through it because I'm in such a happy mood right now. Okay, so I'm going to give that a little bit of time to dry because it's not like it's getting soaked in by the paper. And while I wait for that to dry, the colors, thank you, I will drink some water. Thank you for the reminder. I had some and I just, tend to get so dry when I do this. Okay, so the colors that we're about to take a look at, these are the non-pearlescent colors. I'm going to do the pearlescent colors after. We have titanium white, lemon yellow, yellow ochre, scarlet red, rose, pale green, phthalo green, ultramarine blue, phthalo blue, burnt umber, and Mars black. On the outside of the tube, we have our light fast information, our opacity, and our pigments. I'm a little concerned. This is a bad one to grab. Let me grab a different color because I'm starting to see too many similarities when I maybe should not necessarily, if the pigments were doing all the work, yeah, but okay. Okay, so we have gouache lemon yellow. We have watercolor lemon yellow. We have acrylic lemon yellow. All three of them use PY3. That makes sense. All three of them have the same light fast. Maybe not as much sense because they all have, well, this one is a different binder for sure. And this one, it probably includes something to make it more opaque. And then they are all the same opacity, which concerns me because gouache is an opaque color. So I'm sure one of y'all will be like, Becca, you being dumb. But it worries me a little when I'm reviewing like multiple different things from a company and they're all kind of the same. I mean, it makes sense in a way when they're kind of the same, but it's also like, these are very quick to come out of the tube, more so than the gouache and the acrylics. I shouldn't be seeing any extender. They do smell a little funny. Not the smell I would associate with acrylics usually, which is kind of a plastic smell. This is more of a chemical smell, if that makes sense. I don't normally review inexpensive acrylics just because I've taken acrylic classes and acrylics just doesn't make my heart sing. So I feel like I'm already kind of biased against it. I did recently use Blick acrylics though, because when we were doing Art Squad, we decided to recreate a Bob Ross tutorial with the students. So I bought like the 24 pack of Blick acrylics and those were fine. They were thicker than these. These are kind of thin. Yeah, we followed along with the Bob Ross tutorial. Becca would not do an acrylic tutorial of a painting because I am not confident enough in acrylics to do that. Bob lost? No, I kind of kept up. I got lost a lot. First of all, he was working in oils, but it is not really safe for us to do oils with the kids. So we were doing acrylics and he skips steps. He moves very quick. Now, maybe we should have like started at like the very first Bob Ross tutorial where he explains everything, but he skips steps. Where they assume you know how to do, like how to make a meringue, but you don't. because you don't. I don't know how to make a meringue. I can follow instructions on how to make a meringue, and my grandmother used to make meringues, and she used to make some really good meringues, but I can't make a meringue. I don't know how to do that. All right, so these are our dots. I need to work quick because in my experience, acrylics, I mean, obviously once acrylics dry, they are dry. You're not gonna necessarily reconstitute them. Little bit of water, less than the gouache. Now, something that makes me kind of sad is that Mexby marker. And usually I would use a Copic, but when I was cleaning my desk, I was a goofer and misplaced it. That Mexby marker does sometimes reactivate and have like weird chemical reactions, usually with watercolors. So that is unfortunately a no. I know that's a problem, but I just wanted to have something to kind of test the opacity. And also just to see, most people wouldn't like glaze out like this, but oh, nasty. Look at that. Old watercolor habits die hard. That's the Mexby. There is something in these acrylics, probably how do I phrase this? So with acrylics, you can use rubbing alcohol to kind of clean them up or reactivate them. It acts as a solvent, so I would assume there is a tiny amount of alcohol or something like that in them to keep them liquidy, and that evaporates as they dry. But acrylics is not my medium, so honestly I don't really know. I'm not going to try to wash these out because that did not do so well with these are very thin acrylics, and I know you can get really thin. I've worked with liquid acrylics and I like acrylic ink, but for tube acrylics, these are very thin acrylics, I think. Yeah, Heidi said that that's a good question. It's hard for me to articulate. They don't have much body, so
you mean like not viscous, right?
Yeah, they're not that viscous. They don't have a lot of color oomph, but not all colors should have a lot of color oomph anyway, so that's not necessarily a big deal. But they all feel a little weak. They also just... See, this is why I don't review acrylics, because I kind of know what I like in acrylics, but I haven't spent enough time using and painting and creating things with them for me to be able to say, this is what I like in them, this is what I don't like in them. All I can say is these. First off, I would not use these on a bigger, like on something this big probably, I would go small with these. They're going to get used up fast. And I know acrylics are not like watercolor, where watercolor is like a little goes a long way. Acrylics, the dot you put down is the dot you're going to use for the most part. But these feel like you would have to go over that. I'm sorry. I wish I could articulate my complaints with these a little bit better. I don't know. I'll try some color. Oh, I missed the blue. I'll try some color mixing as well. So Heidi said, I haven't tried them much, but there are water-based oils. Yeah, I've seen those. The other problem with oil, the water-based oils are really nice, but they are kind of pricey, and we're on kind of a tight budget with Art Squad regarding youngins. So, you know, that could definitely be something we do at some point. But I think I didn't plan the lesson for the Bob Ross one. I'm not an acrylics or an oil person. I would have done something watercolor. But I think part of it was using what they already had, because they had some like bottles of Blick acrylic. Do a little color mixing or attempt it. Dr. Bennett said, any chance you are getting the binders squeezed out first? You know, I'll try it. That could be it.
Do the instructions on the tube say
There are no instructions on the tube.
like what is that called? I know the MREs say that. Where you kind of press your fingers against it to get it to move around.
Oh yeah, mix it. No, you know, generally art supplies don't suggest that you need it. I mean, you know, some of them do say shake them and stuff like that. And some do say need it, but like in tubes and stuff that just puts it under pressure. Okay, let's try it with the yellow. And then also another thing, when I'm using acrylics, I usually like to work with white synthetic or even hog bristles, something with more personality. And these brushes are very soft synthetics. So that could also be part of my like, oh, I don't know why, but I don't really like them, y'all. So after I took Dr. Bennett's advice, and it does seem to have a little bit more body further into the tube. You're gonna go through these quick though.
Yeah, that's the smallest bit of acrylic I've ever seen that's intended for you to like use, you know, and not just sample or whatever.
Yeah. I would recommend, so like Dollar Tree sells the mini canvases, and this could be great with that. Because you are gonna need a little bit more paint in order to get what you're looking for. It does still feel kind of thin, but I think some of that might be these brushes too. No, I mean, Heidi's explaining how to make meringue. I know how to make a meringue, but I mean, I know it's like egg whites and you beat it, but I don't necessarily know how much sugar to add. And I know it's powdered sugar, but I don't know how much. And I frankly I could see like a million other things I would rather do than stand there and beat meringues, because we don't have a stand mixer. My feelings on meringues would probably change if we had a stand mixer, but I don't really like baking. I like cooking. I like tasting as I go, and baking, I'm just not like acrylics. I'm not familiar enough with baking. I know what the end result should be, but I don't know what the middle result should be. And Heidi also said you can use acrylics like watercolor. Yeah, like a grise underpainting sort of technique, and water them down, but they usually have larger particles and look grainy. Yeah. These don't have, like over here, I can see a little bit of the canvas texture. I actually kind of like the canvas. Too bad I don't use anything that uses a canvas, but this stuff's kind of cool. The paints though are kind of like yes, the reason I'm doing that and that I would not normally, actually I would normally use a stiffer brush with acrylics, because I like seeing those paint strokes, the brush strokes, but it's what they included in the kit. And I figured, why not review what's in the kit with what's in the kit? Oh, you know, I'm cheating, y'all. Give me a second. Let me lay these out so y'all can see. Huh? Yeah. Oh, you mean my phone? My secondary recording device? Yeah. Yeah, I've been checking it. And I like having that because I do, when possible, I like being able to share like a shorter version of it for the people who, like, quite frankly, don't want to sit through a 3-hour live stream. They just want to know if this kit's good for their 12-year-old or their 18-year-old. So far, I mean, I don't love these acrylics. I kind of would try to do, I think I might do a field test with them on like a mini canvas or something. And maybe I will, and probably with different brushes maybe, but they're not as good as the Blick acrylics. Those had more body to them. I feel like it probably depends on what you want out of them. Like if you were going to use them to paint on some canvas shoes, but then they'll crack. So I don't know. They're like Maddie pointed out earlier that Arteza is like adequate. They're adequate. I wouldn't say they're good. I would say they're accessibly priced, and you know, this could be, I wouldn't call them premium, but it could be a way to introduce somebody to a variety of art techniques. I don't know. I don't know. The part of the problem is there's just like a lot in this set that's and a few things that are pretty good, but I'd still say it was worth the $100, the price of admission. I'm gonna go clean off the plate and switch out my water, and we will try out the metallic watercolors. And then the only thing we will have not tried will be these cookies, which I will paint, but not tonight, because I actually want to paint something on them, and that takes time. And the water brush, which we can try out the water brush if you guys want. And actually, we will have tried all 3 of the pads of paper. So yeah, we'll have sampled this Arteza kit extensively. Mix fabric medium into paint on shoes and fabric. That is true. That's gonna give them more elasticity. You can do similar to screen print on clothes, but I've had bad experiences with the screen printing. So no, I love screen printing, but doing that to screen print. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend it just because I haven't figured out a good way to do it. And Danya said, just bought some fabric medium from Liquitex. Dying to play with it. That sounds like fun. I need to finish 5 projects first. Yes, I feel that. Yeah, Heidi, some Arteza things are surprisingly good. The price point individually is usually like their cotton rag paper is not bad. I wish I could find it. I used it to paint some of the Louisianas that I painted, and it's a standard cotton rag paper. It's not a bad cotton rag paper, but it's kind of expensive for what it is. So that's kind of because it costs more than Stonehenge Aqua, less than Arches, and it's kind of a higher price point. You know what I mean? Yes. Gotta go clean that plate before it dries on it. Yeah, I could probably. I don't know. Actually, these might be cheap enough that they might not have enough plastic in them for me to peel them off. Like, I will say that if I was out to buy acrylics, I would not buy the Arteza tubes of acrylic. They do have some pouring acrylics, though, that look kind of promising. They've already got the Flow Aid mixed in. So, you know, that could be something kind of fun in the future. More of the art for relaxation vibe. But I would say the Blick acrylic, the inexpensive Blick acrylic, are a lot better than these, and you get a lot more of them. They come in like squeezy tubes. At least these aren't ointment tubes where you have like the piercer on one end and you have to pierce open every tube before you can use it. That's an improvement. Those are usually the kiss of death, and they usually smell horrible. So finally, we've got the metallics, if I can get them out. So Hema said, I know the artist of Full Metal Alchemist painted the cover illustrations with Liquitex. Yeah, you can use really watered down acrylics like Watercolor, and the only real difference in terms of appearance, like they're a little more permanent, and there are, you know, some differences in workability. But if you find that you struggle with your watercolors reactivating a lot, that could be a way to do it. But Japan also has all these really cool like liquid acrylics and liquid gouaches that we just don't get over here. So it could be easier to do that with what they've got compared to what we're working with. You can if you want, but that's Liquitex. I really like FW acrylic ink and Liquitex acrylic ink, like for inking with a dip nib. Okay, so here are the metallic acrylic colors. What they're probably doing is the same colors pretty much and just add in some mica. That'd be a very cheap way to do it. And when I do the write-up for this, I'll dig and see if I can figure that out. So Heidi said, I've seen people do the flow style acrylics with like a cookie cutter and pour it into it and then let it spill out or spin their canvas. I've also seen people do it with like silicone drains. You know what I mean? The drain stoppers with the holes in them. And then lift them up. And that looks cool. Right? Please, Japan. I think they would like to. I think we just have trouble finding distributors who are well. St. Louis Art Supply carries a lot of interesting things on their website. And Choosing Keeping carries a lot of really interesting stuff. They're a British store, but they're so expensive. Like, I don't know. I don't know if I can afford all that, but I can sure look. And I mean, some of them are just like, it's hard for me to justify talking about them on the channel, like some of the stuff Choosing Keeping carries, because they're very cool, but it's like traditional Japanese watercolors that you have to mix with water by hand. You know what I mean? You can find videos of people doing that on YouTube, and it's something I'm really interested in, but it's also not something I could recommend. Ooh, Pearl Deep Brown is a really pretty color. It's not something I would like recommend people do, and it's not something that I think would work for how I do watercolor comics, and it's not something I could see myself doing a lot of illustrations with. So it's one of those art supplies that I want it because I am a completionist when it comes to art supplies, and it's really cool, but I probably would not use it properly. These have a smell to them. These have like a chemical smell, not really like an acrylic smell. Like if they were not as expensive, or like next time I go to Japan and I see some, because I'd like to go to Pigment, then I would probably get them and try them, but they're kind of price prohibitive for something that I'm just like, that's really cool. All right, so these colors are Pearl White, Pearl Canary, Canary, no, that's Canary, I shouldn't make fun, Pearl Canary Yellow, Pearl Papaya Orange, Pearl Pink Tulip, Pearl Lime Green, Pearl Electric Blue, Pearl Royal Purple, Pearl Deep Brown, Aztec Gold, Gold, Silver, and Pearl Space Gray. Just checking to make sure that the secondary recording is going for friends who do not have, where are we at now? How many hours are we at? 1 million hours. So when it comes to pearlescent whatevers, I tend to judge them a lot less harshly than I do their non-pearlescent counterparts, mostly because I think of pearlescent colors as being something you add on or mix in. They're like icing, you know, like I'm not going to judge, well, I guess I would, but you don't judge an entire cake just by the icing. You scrape that icing off and enjoy the cake. But I guess you don't enjoy the cake enjoy the icing without the cake. I'm sure some people do. Not so much me. I like Called out. I like my metaphors to make sense, but I often start metaphors and then I'm like, well, they fall apart on me. I don't think these brushes are a good fit with the acrylics. I think they're a good fit with the watercolors and the pearlescent watercolors and even the gouache, but they just, the way they apply the acrylic is just not conducive to how I like to apply acrylic. They're just very soft and you end up with like a really soft application. The colors are pretty. This one is an interference color, so you get a little bit of gold in there, and that would be the pearl lime green. So instead of it just being like a soft mint, it does have some nice interference that makes it a little more like an electric lime. Hema says, the icing job is 100% the appealing part of my cakes. Yes, but your cakes are very, very cute. And lots of people do like icing. Ooh, that's on me. These are glopping on it, and that's my fault. So I feel like the acrylics smell, and they don't smell like acrylic. They smell like something else. So that's kind of a for me. I feel like it's hard to judge the acrylics based on how they apply using the included brushes. The thing is, there is no, in my opinion, there's no such thing as like an all-rounder brush. Something that is good at applying acrylics, in my opinion, is not going to be like, it doesn't do it. Something that's good at applying watercolor does not make a good acrylic brush. I like something stiffer and vice versa. So I would pick up some different brushes. I actually have some of the snap brushes, which aren't the worst for, like, they're not the best, but they're cheap. And for someone who doesn't love acrylic all that much, you know, they're fine for me. And I think the snap brushes are not good for watercolor, but they're fine for acrylic. They would be fine for acrylic here. No problem. I think Milani was the one who taught. My brain wants to combine turned me on to and talk to me about into one horrible mega word. I found out about him from Milani, but I think Pere Fleur here on YouTube buys from them pretty frequently, but I also think they live closer, so that would make more sense. All right, our last one. Yeah, I really think these brushes are just not a good fit for these acrylics. So here is our pearl white, our canary yellow. The canary yellow also has some interference gold, which is cool. Our pearl papaya orange, our pearl pink tulip, our pearl lime green, our pearl electric blue, our pearl royal purple. These don't seem to include the pigment info. These just say the light, like the opacity, and then mica. Pearl deep brown, whereas with the gouache, they said, oh, that's just a regular gouache. Let me grab a. They have mica and then they have the pigment info. I wonder if whoever is manufacturing their pearlescent acrylics is not the same as whoever is manufacturing their regular acrylics. This is why I don't love white labeling. It's just there's so many questions unanswered. And I'm just so want to know all of the info. All right, so what I am going to do is I'm going to go put this in the sink with some water, rinse this out, and then we're going to reassemble. Actually, I can use the black acrylic real quick. I don't know what I'm thinking. Now it's a little juicy, so letting it sit longer, I did get better ink flow. I mean, it doesn't seem to be tearing up the nib any. I think it's a pretty sturdy nib. Oh, and they post. So I'm going to clean this up, and then when I get back, we are going to talk about what I like about, like, what's good about this kit, what I feel like I could pass on with this kit, And we're going to also be super boring and look up how much everything costs and figure out if this kit is actually worth the $100 or whatever you're paying. Again, I caught this on sale. I paid like $69 for it. I would keep an eye on it and see if it goes down because I think $99 is probably kind of high for it. I do know that the Arteza site is having today is Nothing Sunday. You've got Black Friday, you've got Small Business Saturday, you've got Sunday, and then you've got Cyber Monday, Sleepy Sunday. Everybody's recovering from the 2 days of spending a lot of money. But they're having a sale right now where some things are 75% off. So that's going to make pricing these things really hard because I was going to use the Arteza site prices. But you might be able to get this kit for a good deal if you are looking for a really comprehensive art gift to give to somebody who isn't yet sure what their medium is. Dr. Bennett, said, I'm surprised Arteza didn't include separate brushes for watercolor and acrylic in the set. I kind of am too. I wonder if I know they do sell brushes. I wonder if like these are what they sell. You know what I mean? Like if they don't have any other brushes. I do want it to be Art Supply Sunday and not just 50% off. I want like the big deals. It should be Art Supply Sunday. Oh, I know. I meant, they're not going to sue me. They're just going to, like, tell me to either take the video. Sorry, we're talking about Disney and me singing Moana songs and how litigious the mouse is. I was doing a kind of a craft fair. I guess I'd call it a craft fair. Destrehan Fall Fest a couple weekends ago. And something people kept suggesting is that I draw copyright products and sell prints of that. And, you know, I'd love to work with like Tabasco, but years of doing anime cons and you don't mess with the mouse, you don't do Disney, you don't do Marvel stuff, has left me kind of like, well, I don't know. Did you hear about, you heard, what's his name from, he sounds like Bowie. No offense to him, he's got a great voice. From Moana. You know, because somebody might think I was implying, the internet has made me really, really, really like always dot my I's and cross my T's to the point of explaining too much because there's always someone looking for a bad take. I was just like, well, somebody might think I was saying he's just a copycat and not that he has an awesome voice. And now that David Bowie is gone, we need another Bowie, frankly. I'm just picking things up so that we can actually get them in the shot. This is such a big set. They included so much. I really have to I have to give them that. They really included a lot. And it's not all garbage either. A lot of these 1 million in one piece art kits are garbage. But this one actually is not. Okay, I gotta be really careful. Did I do it? Did I do it? Hang on, let's back up. Beep, beep. Okay, that's as good as we're gonna get. Okay, so this kit was kind of neat in that not only did we get an art kit full of art supplies, Oh yeah, sorry, I'm missing the metallics. I put them somewhere. They're underneath a pile of paper. So not only did we get all of this, which is already a lot, it's probably $100 value, but we also got a canvas pad. We got a DIY frame sketch pad with black paper, and that thing's actually pretty cool. We got their pad of cellulose paper, which I'm kind of yeah about it. I don't love it. We also got, sorry as I reach and grab. We also got 2 stretched canvases, one in white, one in black. We got 2 rectangular canvas boards, one in white, one in black, and we got 2 square canvas boards, one white and one in black. So you actually get a lot with this kit, and it's not garbage. I'm kind of surprised it's not garbage. I definitely thought it could be garbage, but it's the stuff they normally sell just in one package. So if you already are happy with Arteza, yeah, this is a big kit. If you are happy with Arteza quality, you're getting Arteza quality. This is just their stuff in a different package, which is nice because sometimes with these kind of art kits, that's not the case. You're getting garbage with the kits. So what I want to do, and this is the time-consuming part, is I actually want to figure out the actual value of this kit on my own. Yes, they are. These are chisel marker nibs. And they even included this delicious anti-mold chip. And they included tweezers to remove, so you don't have to get your hands all messy, which I actually appreciate. They're cheap tweezers, but I appreciate that attention to detail. You do get a small plastic mixing palette. I just don't think this is enough space to mix anything, so I didn't use it. And you get some wood cookies to paint, and they're so cute and so little. And I actually will use these, but I actually wanted to paint a something on them, so that's why I didn't, mark them up today, because I didn't want them to not be usable. This is a big chonker of a kit. It's going for $99 on Amazon right now. They do offer it cheaper. I paid $69 at the time, and now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, wow, that's actually a really good deal for $69. So I'm going to chat with you guys and attempt to bring up hi, I can see my face again. I'm going to attempt to bring up my desktop and hopefully not shame myself. Which one are you going to bring up? So this is not the kit, not at all. Let me just go to Arteza. This is the kit. And on Arteza, it's actually $73.99. So this is, because it's on sale. Well, shoot, if you guys want to get this kit, this is cheaper than what it's going for on Amazon right now. So I'll drop the link for y'all. What? Oh, okay, it's just pokey, I guess, because it's doing that for me too, and it's being pokey. Let me find the trade. Pop out. And this is it on Amazon. So it's $99 right now on Amazon. It's $73 on Arteza. I don't have any kind of a deal with Arteza, but I do with Amazon. But it's so much cheaper. I would say go with the Arteza's one. So this is it. What is shipping on their site? I got free shipping because after you spend a certain amount, you get free shipping, and they don't have a high threshold for free shipping. In fact, it is free shipping on orders over $29 right now. And if you install like Honey or Retail Me Not, it'll give you coupon codes, and that'll help you drop it down. So what I want to do is I hate going by their list price because that's always kind of high, but everything's on sale right now, so it's also kind of like weird. What I want to do is I want to look everything up, be super boring, and figure out how much everything in this kit is worth individually if I can. And I just because I'm really nerdy like that. I'm curious, frankly. So we'll start by like talking about what's in it. So we've got a 12-piece metallic watercolor set, which I actually kind of liked. They include the swatch cards. This also kind of gives me an opportunity to talk about what I liked and what I didn't like, so that works. These are their included swatch cards, and I liked the opacity of this set. It is not as opaque as some iridescent watercolor sets, but it's not as crummy as some I've recently reviewed, like the See Me Art. Ugh, the See Me Art. So this isn't bad. I actually like their metallic watercolors better than I like their regular 12-piece watercolor set, which is just looks like it'd be good, but it's full of optical brighteners and it's not very good at all. So we have their 12-piece metallic watercolor set. We've got their, and I promptly forgot, I want to say this is 12 pieces, piece tube watercolor. We've got the 12-piece tube gouache. We've got the 12-piece tube metallic gouache. I actually kind of like their gouaches. In fact, their gouache had more body than their acrylic did, and maybe that's where I'm complaining about their acrylic. We get the 12-piece tube acrylic, 12-piece tube metallic acrylic. We get their 10-piece glitter gel pens, 5-piece acrylic markers, which I actually kind of like. They feel a little light, like they're not as, yeah, look. Well, you're not gonna be able to see it. I wish you could, but it's like half full basically. So they're kind of underfilled compared to the Liquitex, but they're not as expensive. We also got, what is this, 5-piece brush set, a water brush, and we got a plastic palette. We got wood cookies, and then we got all that paper, so I got to think about that for a minute. We got the premium watercolor pad. Remove that. We got the 10-sheet DIY frame sketch pad in black. In case that makes a difference, when I used to buy printmaking paper, black printmaking paper was like double the cost of white because they were using black wool. The 5-sheet canvas pad, which I actually kind of like. That thing's kind of neat. I wish I liked acrylics more. We received a white 9x12 stretched canvas in cotton, a black 9x12 stretch canvas, a white 9x12 canvas board, same thing in black. And then we got those 2 square ones. They look like they might be like, yeah, 8 inches. Canvas panels, that's what they're called. And we got the wooden box, which is well made. I'm not dumping on that. All right, let us see. Metallic watercolors. Okay, so here's the 24-piece set. Here's the individual half pans. Do they not have the little 12-piecer? It doesn't look like, oh man. If everything is like a weird amount, that's gonna make things harder. Okay, fine, Amazon, fine. I swear the other day I saw this on their site, and now it's like they never had it. Okay. Look, it's more expensive, and this is a Cyber Monday deal. It's more expensive because it's $20 over on the Arteza site. So I'm just gonna like split this price in half. I know that's not really how, like, it would be a little more expensive than that, but they're claiming this is 46 doll hairs. I don't know about that. Whereas this, they're claiming it's normally 30. That feels more like something I would pay. Is 30? Clickety. Thank you. So I'll say 15, which would make it less than that 12-piece set. That thing went for 18, but whatever. This is where I complain a lot, mostly because Freudian slip. Math is not necessarily my strongest skill set. So it's me complaining because it's like, ooh, I got a math, I don't want a math. I'm kind of surprised I could find the 12-piece set on, on Arteza, because I kind of felt like they might have taken everything that was in the kit out. So that's $10.99. That's pretty reasonable. I mean, normally it's $12.99, which is also more than pretty reasonable. And I would say everything in this kit is student grade, so not necessarily bad to learn on, but you're not necessarily going to be able to do everything you might want to do with this. It would make some younger artists very happy, though. I will say that. And it's better quality than a lot of these wood box kits are. Okay, so I did find the metallic gouache. And they want $15.99 for that. Sure. Do they not have the 12-piece regular? Oh, it's all whited out. You can't buy it anymore. Does that mean that's actually sold out, or? Yeah, email me when in stock. Out of stock. Okay. I'm not seeing the 12-piece like regular gouache set, so I'm gonna do same thing I did before, where I just divide the price in half. So $23.99. That's around $12-ish. Okay, so that's the watercolor, the gouache. Let's see what their paintbrushes look like. Sorry, y'all. Okay, so we've got the acrylic and oil, and that looks like this set. It looks like this set. So that's kind of surprising, because I would not say these are good for acrylic, but I couldn't tell you about for oil, but not for acrylic. I'm kind of surprised I found it, because I would have thought this would have been like bits and pieces, if you know what I mean, like not the full set. I know I'm not going to be able to find a single water brush. You know, they sell them in sets. Water brush, not water brush. So this is the nice one that they said I was going to get, but I didn't. And I'm not seeing what I actually got. Did I totally kill the chat? Like, did everybody leave? I can't check, or I'm not checking just yet. Sure. Well, I was saying, because I know this isn't, and people always want to know what the total value is, but it's not I know it's not the most exciting thing. Okay, so this is not like what's on the screen, but it's closer than the other thing. And they say $10.99 for 4. So let's say $2.50. I know there's not much to say when we're just price gathering. I appreciate y'all being here though. Okay, now we got to do the acrylics. That's a dangerous question because I'm an artist and I know how much I struggled with bad art supplies when I was younger, and I would probably, right, that's what I was gonna say. I would rather get them less but good quality student grade, and there is good quality student grade, and it's cheap. I mean, Mei Liang is like $30 for their palette. That's pretty cheap, and I think it's better than these, and you get more colors too. So the crummy thing, I think, is, and that's why I do some of the videos I do. You have to have experience with the product or have seen a review of it from someone whose stuff you like to shop savvily for younger artists, because there's some really terrible garbagey stuff, and then there's some cheap things that are pretty good. And you can't tell just from looking at an Amazon listing which is which. And that's also part of the reason I'm doing this student grade showdown. I'd hoped I would finish before Christmas. I think I'm going to have everything out to my patrons before Christmas, but it's not all going to be live until probably after Christmas to non-patrons. But I would like to be able to help people because everybody's having a hard year this year. I mean, last year was hard. This year is really hard. So I'd like to be able to help people give art gifts that they're going to be happy with, and that the person they're giving it to is going to be happy with. And what I'm seeing is I am not actually seeing these gel pens. I am seeing refillable gel pens like these, and they sell the refills, which is cool. That's frustrating. I mean, I'm not going to give it the value of something that you could refill. And they don't have any 10 packs, I don't think, which I don't blame them for not. Did I answer your question? I'm sorry. I don't know if I answered it. I feel like I gave a weasel worm answer, and I hate that. I wish I could definitively say oh yeah, you should be prepared. If you want to give something they're really going to be happy with, you should be prepared to spend $30 to $45. But I have reviewed stuff that was 40 something bucks and I hated it. And I've reviewed stuff, same amount of paints, that were in the 30s, and I loved them. So it really boils down to the brand. I'm not finding these. I'm not even finding something comparable. Let me try something else. Which might mean they worked with a manufacturer for these just for this kit. Did they carry anything sort of like it in the past? Maybe I should just go with the refills. Super glitter. Are these the super glitter? They are. They're the super glitter gel pens. We did not get 18 of them. They were pretty glittery. I was expecting garbage, so I was impressed. When your expectations are low, it's easy to be impressed. So this is a set of 18. We got 10. Let's say $10-ish. Do y'all like how very what's the word? No, not conservative. Very accurate And then we have the acrylic markers. Then I gotta look up all the papers. Okay, so this is kind of neat. They actually sell these in a set of 20. I didn't expect this to be a full set, by the way. Would have been kind of cool, but I wasn't expecting that. I kind of like them. I would be open to getting the bigger set at some point. This looks like the smallest set that is, no, those are tiny, right? Well, these are. What is this? Wait, I'm sorry. We've got tiny ones and then we've got 3 big ones. They don't, man, they want to make me like fight for every price. And it seems like they might be sold out of the big ones. Please give me a price anyway. Thank you. So this is 5, let's say 1/5, so $5. Wait, I went and stupided myself. I did. It's because I'm tired and I could do this. I could do this. I just have to divide this by 4. Huh?
At least you're not doing it.
Oh my goodness. And that was very, very like flying by the seat of $6. Oh. No, did I do that math wrong? That's like a liquid. That's the price of a liquid. I mean, to be fair, we got this as a kit, so it's not like I went and paid $6.75 each. But no, that's. I think at this point, most of what I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to get some of these companies, I don't think Arteza will, but I'm trying to get some of these companies to either up their quality or reduce their prices. Oh yeah, I am not gonna find this Dollar Tree gem on Arteza. It's not terrible, but you can get these at Dollar Tree. Let's try the wood cookies. Wood slice. Do you not do it? I wonder, because those are, I know these are in the advent calendar, the 12-day advent calendar. I'm going to do it, y'all. But they are not showing up on the site. So I'm sorry. Oh well. I feel like the value is going to be over $100 anyway, so we're probably not missing out too much. Premium watercolor pen. Oh, it's a 2-pack. Of course it is. That just makes things easy. Oh no. Hey Joseph, will you go get beignets?
Yeah, they're gonna close soon.
Please go get beignets. Thank you. I'll probably be done by the time, because I am wrapping up. So $21.99 divided by 2, that's 22. That's like $11 per pad. The beignets are important. And I'm hungry, so obviously the beignets are important. Oh no, they come in all these different sizes. Ugh. And they come in 20. They just gave me, what? How many did they give me? Like, not 20. Did they? Is it? No, it's 10. So I got half as many. I mean, it's within their rights. I'm just complaining because it's like, oh, I gotta figure this out now. And then I always feel weird because I'm like approximating the prices. And y'all are so patient with me. Okay, this looks like, yeah, yeah, I think that's kind of like what I bought, what I got, what I have. It's a pack of 2, and it's like twice as many because I only got 5, so it's a quarter of what they're selling here. So that's almost easy. That's like $4. Let's say $4.50. You do get a lot of different things in this. This is probably a really good deal. Although you can get the multi-packs on Blick for pretty cheap too. I got one canvas, so it's time to do some math, huh? 26 divided by 12. That is $2.25 each. Oh, my secondary recording device has almost died. I guess that doesn't really matter if it dies because I'm just looking up prices right now. Are you cheaper? You are. Why? Why? 175. I don't want to share no beignets. I want my own beignet. Oh, what? That's a twist. This was the part of the subscription boxes that I enjoyed, but I didn't like doing on camera because it takes a while, and it's one of those things that you do while you're watching TV or something. Like, mostly it's just kind of tedious. 129. Gets the box. Yeah, maybe I should have. Well, gets the box after the field test. Would have been a good. Because I'm not going to use up. Well, maybe with the acrylics, because those things. There's not much oomph there. They don't have legs. It's a no bones day for them. Oh boy. That's like unfair. They got a real deal on these right now. $186. Some of these, this is what I mean by I don't think Arteza's prices are really indicative of the fact that a lot of these are student grade. These are actually really cheap, okay, the canvases and stuff. But then when you see them go on sale and you realize how cheap they really could be, it kind of makes you be like, I don't know. I'm tired and now I'm rambling. I'm not making any sense. These are less than the 8x8 panels are less than $1 a piece. I'm gonna say $1 because if you were to buy it open stock on its own, you would not. They couldn't afford to send it to you for less than $1. I have good bags. Well, Heidi, I think, split those bags. No, the clear handled ones. I like those. Those are just not big enough. I used to have big enough ones. I ran out. Heidi, if you're still there, Joseph wants to know where you get your. Do they not have the black panels? Joseph wants to know where you get your clear handled bags from because he feels that ours are too small, and they are kind of too small. They don't have the black canvas panels.
you have my phone.
Yes, I do. It's right there. I'm sorry. Bring back beignets. All right, let's get a final total for what this box might be worth, full price or approaching full price, because they're having a sale right now. So I'm going to be real quiet because I'm going to be doing math, and I'm tired, and I am not good at numbers when I am tired. My brain just blanks out. And I also feel like I probably repeat things by accident, like I'm not paying enough. No, I was supposed to multiply. No, wait. Yes, okay. Oh, wow. I was not paying attention. Okay, so that would be $6.75 for all 5 of these. I was thinking it was $6.75 each, and I was like, that's Liquitex prices. This is why I don't do like multi-hour video game streams, because my brain turns into a pumpkin after a certain time. Wait, did I massively goof? Maybe not. No, I guess not. I thought I typed in 250. I know somebody's looking at this and they've already done the math and they're like, come on, Becca, get with it. I need those beignets to make my brain work. I don't know why some people use like a physical calculator. That's just so much more entertaining to watch. I need like an ice cream one or something. Oh, plus $1, plus $1. Okay, so theoretically, our total, some of these are not listed. You can't find them on their site either, okay? Our total would be $150.85. And this was sub 100. I mean, it's 73 right now on their site. So that's pretty good. If you, I mean, let me turn this off. And find the chat. I'm so sorry. Bags Unlimited. Thank you. So that $150.85 is what this box is worth. There were some things I couldn't really find, like the wood cookies or like this, so I just said no. I just null valued it. And some things they don't carry, and I had to kind of guess because obviously they have it. They're just not selling it, like this and like a bunch of other things. So yeah, let me find where I was. There we go. Okay. All right. Now everything is normal the way it should be. Yeah. If you, how do I put this? My brain is doing the thing, and I love when my brain does the thing. I am not recommending this kit for a professional artist who's used to professional artist grade art supplies. There are some pretty decent deals, like the gouache seems all right, but I'm not a big gouache person, so I could be totally off. The brushes are fine, although they say they're for acrylic and for oil. I would not say they're for acrylics. They're okay for watercolor though. These things are pretty cool, and I would definitely be open to trying a larger set of them. The gel pens aren't bad, but I mean, they're probably about the same price as Sakura jelly rolls, and I love the Sakura jelly rolls, so I'm just gonna stick with the Sakura jelly rolls. The acrylics though have no bones and cannot stand, and it's a no bones day for them. So the acrylics I'm really kind of like about, and the watercolors. The tube watercolors are an improvement over what they used to be, but they're still not particularly good. However, the metallic watercolors aren't bad at all. I kind of like them. So, oh, and you get a bunch of paper. So I would say that it's worth the price, especially because you get a bunch of papers and canvases and like things that you can actually paint on, or draw on, which is cool. I really like that about this kit, because a lot of the kits that I've reviewed, you don't get paper to work on. So I think that really ups the usability and the function of this kit. And you get like your brushes, and you get a water brush too. So I really kind of like that. So in terms of gift giving, I'm trying to decide if I could see myself giving this as a gift for Christmas. Hang on, let me poke the second. Oh, it's at 3%. Good luck. We'll see if we finish. Finish recording. I need to get like a USB cable out here that'll reach this tall. Oh wow. Okay, so this set. What do I like about it? What do I not like about it? I like that they've included a wide variety of substrates for you to draw and color and paint on, including 2 stretched canvases. I know those don't cost them a whole lot of money, but most of the sets that I've reviewed don't include paper, and their paper is better than a lot of the sets that I reviewed. So that's pretty good. I like the metallic watercolors. I like the tin they come in. I like the box. The brushes are all right for watercolor. Wouldn't say they're good for acrylics or oil, but they're fine. Their watercolors are an improvement over where their watercolors used to be, but they're still not where I would like to see them at. But they're not bad. They're usable. The gouache, maybe because I'm not a gouache person, I kind of like it. I want to play with this more. I thought it was a decent quality gouache that was pretty usable for somebody like me. So I would definitely be open to exploring gouache more using their gouache. So that's kind of a win because I don't really like gouache. I did not like their acrylics. I feel like their acrylics did not have any bones. It just did not have any body or any oomph or any lastingness to it. It felt very cheap to me. I would not recommend using their acrylic on a larger piece. The wood cookies, we will explore that later. The gel pens were pretty good. I love gel pens. They have a lot of glitter to them, so that's pretty cool. They remind me a lot of the Sakura jelly rolls. I prefer the Sakura jelly rolls. These are cheaper though, so considering they are in this set, you might as well use them. They're quite usable. The acrylic pens are pretty decent. They do seem like they're only half filled. It's hard for me to show you guys what I mean. Maybe you can see that. They do seem like they're only half filled, but it does seem like maybe you could refill them. They don't seem to sell the refills for them, but you can take out the nibs and replace the nibs, which I also like. That kind of extends the life of it. They did include a palette, but frankly, I think this palette is too small for any of the things that they actually included in this. So I would recommend just getting a cheap white ceramic plate from Dollar Tree. That's gonna make you happier. They included tweezers to actually remove the nibs, and they also included some chisel nibs. So this kit ranges from, on the Arteza site, it's $73 right now. I think I paid around $69 for this on Amazon a while back. This is not acrylic gouache. It seems like it is reactivatable water-based gouache. So that would have, for me, that makes it a little more usable too, because if I'm going to use acrylic gouache, I would just use a matte acrylic. So the set is about a $100 set if you don't find it on sale, but the total value of what was inside is $150.85. So I do actually think this set is worth the money, and I don't think it would make a bad gift. So I'm kind of a quality over quantity person in general, but this could be a great way to encourage a young artist or a beginning artist, something fell out, to encourage a beginning artist to try out these kind of paint-based mediums. And it's very accessible. The kit keeps everything nice and organized, and it doesn't take up, when it's packed up, it takes up very little space. It takes up a lot of space folded out, but that's because you get a lot in this kit. So frankly, I'm kind of impressed because my experiences with their regular watercolors were not good at all, and I lost my secondary camera. Dang it. So this set is definitely an improvement over this individual piece. The sum is better than some of the individual parts. So if you were looking to give this gift to as a gift to a young artist, I think they would be pretty happy with it, especially if they are interested in traditional media, but they haven't found one specific traditional media that they really like yet. This could be a good gift for that person. Now, if you have someone who already knows they really, really like watercolor and that's what they want to focus on, I wouldn't give them this kit. If you have somebody who really likes acrylic, I wouldn't give them this kit. But if it's somebody who's interested in a lot of different things and they want to play around or they like to do mixed media, this could be a really good kit for them. So hopefully I had so much fun hanging out with you guys. Thank you guys so much for sharing your Sunday evening with me. I really appreciate it. I know we were here forever, but I mean, we started around 5:45 and it's now 9:40, 4 hours for this, but I really appreciate it, and I had a lot of fun hanging out with you guys, and I'm looking forward to hanging out with you guys again soon. And like, no joke, I have, hang on. Ugh. I've got another art kit to talk about with you guys. It's another painting kit. So it is the painting tools and detailing accessories. And these Arteza boxes make for the worst thumbnails. They're so uninteresting to look at, but I don't want to unbox it until like we're hanging out. However, I have something a little more exciting. I have a 12-day advent calendar from Arteza. They promised 12 art activities. I'm all for that. And look, they're holding that wood cookie, so we might be using that wood cookie for this. And I'm also waiting on a 24-day advent calendar to come in. One of them I would like to do as just a start to finish unboxing, and the other I'd like to like do one each day, and I'm waiting for the other one to come in, because if it's 24 days of activities, that's a lot of activities. That's such much advent. But I was kind of thinking it would just be art supplies and not activities, but I think the fact that it's cogent activities is pretty cool. You can always choose to ignore the activity, or you can try it out and learn something new. Sorry, my throat is like, girl, you done. Anyway, I'm going to try to get all this written up for you guys and share that over on my Patreon, Pigment Info, when I can, kind of coalesce my thoughts. And I'm also going to release a shorter, fingers crossed, try to release a shorter version of this for folks who just want to know if this kit is any good and don't have 4 hours to spend swatching. So it was wonderful to see you guys again. I miss you guys. Hopefully I can stream next Sunday. I should be able to, barring family craziness and, I don't know, emergency, one of us cutting off a limb or something. I don't know, at the rate I'm going, I've got a cut, I've got little kitten claw bites and scratches everywhere. I've got a burn from, I don't remember what I was cooking, but I miss fumble fingers. So, I mean, I might be missing a leg by the next time I hang out. But anyway, hopefully I'll see you guys next Sunday. No, I can't next Sunday. Dang it, I have plans. Sorry, y'all. How dare I have a social life now? We got to get that kit done soon, though. So we'll talk about it. We'll figure it out. And thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. And hopefully I'll see you guys again soon. I hope you guys have a wonderful week. And I hope you guys are safe, happy, and healthy. So bye, guys. Bye. Bye. Yeah, I had a lot of fun. Thank you, guys.